Well, well, well.
Me too. My end too. I was not late.
To 3 Peens in a Pod.
Bob, do you have the Mark bot working properly? Can they hear us?
Everything's fine. Wade is joking.
Chad. Did you have a Mark bot last week?
We were hunting you last week.
We did hunt. We hunted deer applier. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I think you probably are the one that trampled us both to death, if I'm honest.
I'm hoping
we were both killed by a buck.
I'm hoping that it's a mod in that game you were playing that has a model of me as the deer, and it replaces all deer with just stalking models of me, like long-limbed, big-horned versions of me. So,
and a full Mark soundboard from the he who comes right after you. I mean, that doesn't exist anymore. That's over.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Who knows?
What's it? Lumpy comes right after you. What's that thing called that you do now?
Lunky.
Lumpo? Glumpy. Glumpus?
Well, you gotta mock everything.
I only watch videos on your channel that I'm in, if I'm 100% honest. So I have no idea what else happens in your world.
That's fair. I get that. That's fair. I understand.
Your edit of my confession, by the way, made me look really crazy. I recorded a sane, rational video, and then Mark had Lixian make me look like the crazy person.
Not just Lixian, Rachel, I think, really did. And then Lixian did the finishing touches on it. Really amped up the crazy,
Well, I was right.
Yeah, in the end, you were right, man. Congratulations.
Nailed it. Called it. Wade, you should have believed. I don't know why that person holding you at gunpoint was so concerning.
What do you mean? There's no one here. That was, in all honesty, that was really weird to film. That was one of the weirder filming things I've done, because it was a day where we had a lot of crazy things going on in the news.
Yeah, I know,
and I was like glued to the news, and I was like, shit, I need to get this thing done for Mark. And then I was like halfway, I got ready to do it. I was like, is it okay to film this today?
Okay.
Just everything I'd been like eating up, watching TV and like keeping up online. I was just like, let's just pretend to be a hostage for 2 minutes. That's fine. That's normal. Normal people do this.
Anyway, are you sick of that bit yet, Mark?
I mean, I never expected the bit to take off in the way it did, so I'm just gonna move on, take a hard left from it.
That was so funny. Whatever. We don't have to talk about that. That's done now. But just the way that all played out was, people are weird.
Yeah, you know me. As soon as I'm done with a bit, it's dropped forever and never picked up again. So screw that and screw it.
That's how I feel about it too, honestly.
Yeah. Talking.
Well, we have a debate topic for today.
Yeah, we had an interesting topic we started talking about before we went live.
This might be 3 Peens' first debate.
I don't know if debate is the right word. Like debate,
it may turn into a debate. Who knows?
The loosest. I mean, I don't want to offend debates.
Right.
In the loosest sense of the word, this will be a debate. It'll be more of a discussion of opinions.
Yes, exactly. That sounds good. I like that. That's good.
But anyway, Mark, why is YouTube boring?
See, and there you go, posing that question in the way that,
Well, it's not a biased question. That's a totally neutral question. Why does YouTube suck a big asshole? Explain yourself.
Me as representative of YouTube, is that what it is?
You speak for all of YouTube.
Are you
Wade
talking
speaks for all of Twitch?
Are you talking from a production side or a consumption side?
All right, yeah, maybe there's more premise required than that. What we want to discuss is each of us prefers each of us has our own preference for what kind of content we like to make and how we like to do it. And we were just right before we went live, we were sort of just bullshitting about why we like different things in terms of streaming versus recording content for YouTube versus, I don't know, some other stuff probably that you can do to make videos. Those are the only two I'm aware of. But like, we want to discuss what it's like to make content and what we like or don't like about different types of content creation. And I have no idea how to, I don't know, do you have like a thesis? Anyone have an opening statement for this? I have no idea how to get this started.
I think you're on the right track. The basic principle is that some people prefer streaming as a way of creating content or interacting with people or just like spending their time as a quote unquote content creator. Some people like streaming. They do that. I personally don't because, well, for various reasons that we're going to get into, but I prefer making individual videos for YouTube. I do stream, obviously. Right now, it's evidence that I do stream. There are some aspects of streaming that I enjoy. I do enjoy. However, I prefer to make videos by myself or like just generally individual videos that I can put up on YouTube. Does that sound?
That's like a good, almost like an opening argument for like, or you stated what you preferred. Well, let's start with that.
Okay.
You stated what you preferred. Wade, do you need a minute or do you want me to go install for you, or are you ready? You want to state like, what do you like doing the most?
Oh, I'm
what
good.
kind of
I
content?
can talk.
If you had to put a thesis statement, it's like, what's better for content creators,
Yeah.
streaming
For,
or
in your
YouTube?
opinion.
Yeah, streaming or
So I'm
YouTube
gonna
individuals.
give a fork tongue answer because I think both. I think it depends on the person. I think it makes a lot of sense, Mark, that you prefer content creation because one, you're really, really good at editing and you're very creative. But I also think your introvertedness adds to that because you don't have to worry about dealing with people directly when you're making a video. You can talk to your audience, but it's much more obscure. Me, I'm an attention whore. I always have been. And I noticed that making YouTube videos with friends, I really like multiplayer YouTube videos because I've got people to bounce off on, et cetera, et cetera. But for solo videos, YouTube was always a fucking struggle for me. Doing any solo content. I remember playing games like horror games. I remember doing Kona, which is like a kind of spooky investigation game, whatever. But like, it was just always a bit of a drag for me because it was like, okay, I've got to chop down 50 trees. What am I going to say? I guess I can cut all this out. But there was just, in my mind, I was always worried about what I was going to talk about. What was I going to say? What is there like, oh, let me find something. Look at this stick. This is a stick named Ricky Bobby, everyone. It's a stick and it's my stick. And I'm going to...
This is a box named Tim. What a stupid idea, Wade.
I mean, yeah,
That
that's
kind of came
basically.
naturally, I think, for Mark. Whereas me, I always tried to force things because I didn't know what to talk about. So I would try to force something. But with Twitch, if I ever have a moment where I don't know what to talk about with Twitch, I can literally just look over and read chat. There's always like, people are very generous. So, there's always like, notifications to read there too. But like, it's like worst case scenario, I've got nothing to say. It's like, chat, ask me questions, and I'll see something that'll get me started on a whole nother topic. And I don't know, I really enjoy that. I enjoy the live feedback with people. They can be like, Wade, you're an idiot, and I'm like, you're right. And I don't know, I enjoy that aspect too.
I think it all boils down to how many times you tell your audience to shut up. Because for you, it's like you go to them for content. For me, I'm like, chat, shut up, get out of my way. I'm talking. And that's kind of like my YouTube thing. I'm like, you don't know what the hell is even entertaining. Go away. I'm in charge. Maybe that's
your audience
kinda
used to be like your audience used to be known as like the marketplates or whatever.
They didn't know. They didn't get known by anything.
The minions. Well, that was a fandom like way back when. But I call my chat little shits now. They don't really have an official. They're just all little shitheads. So I call them little shits.
That makes sense.
But I don't know. It was like when we were on tour. I think I had this realization on tour, like when we were doing the first practices in Tulsa or whatever, and we had nobody besides that one guy who looked really displeased in the front row watching us practice. It was like, this is going to be the worst thing we've ever done. And then the first time we had a live audience, I fed off of the crowd's energy so much.
Yeah.
And I have that same thing with Twitch too. It's like knowing that there's people watching me live puts me in like this pressured scenario that I really feel like I thrive in. Whereas whenever there's not eyes on me, I just want to like itch my ass crack and pick my nose or something. And I'm like, oh God, I can't believe I got to talk to nobody and pretend to be here, want to be here. But with Twitch, I actually feel compelled to be like, oh, I have energy. And then as soon as I click end stream, my energy and adrenaline crash, and I just want to go lay on the couch like a potato the rest of the day.
So I think that's interesting, Mark, that I've never seen it that way, I guess. How you always tell chat to shut up and stuff. That's also a core part of my interaction. But I would say that my preferred type of content creation is streaming. My favorite way to do basically what we do is live on a stream, and I will say there's a different part of it where if I had to pick a type of video to make, I would always make multiplayer videos, because I feel like single player videos, I don't have the type of personality where I'll just generate a bunch of bullshit that I can riff on and make entertaining. I will just sit and silently play a game, especially if I'm enjoying it. I'll just sit and I'll just do the game and like. But if I'm with people, my motivation is heavily trying to get whoever I'm gaming with to laugh, and not in like a sellouty way of like I'll do anything for a laugh. But I'm always like what would be shocking right now? What would be like? Well, how could I react to this? That would be nonsense. That would defy people's expectations of me, because I'm generally in real life like I'm a reserved person. I would say I am funny, but I'm not like that person who's always just funny no matter what. I can be funny or I can be dead silent, and that creates a really confusing expectation for people, because some people who know me, especially if they know me in certain contexts, would think I'm a super serious, like anyone I went to law school with probably thinks I'm a super dull, super serious, like focused sort of person. But it's so I would rather make a multiplayer YouTube video than stream by myself a lot of the time. But I would almost always rather stream than record a YouTube video, because I can fuck with chat. I can tell them to shut up. I can call them liars and idiots. The dynamic of hating chat and telling them that they're idiots just to get a reaction, especially in situations where they're not doing anything, is like, there's something about that I find really entertaining, more so than YouTube. And I do think I get why you like YouTube, and my answer is different than Wade's, because you have a more specific vision. I feel like when you start, even when you're just making like, like 3 scary game videos or something that an outside observer might see as like, oh, just another, Mark's cranking out content, whatever. You go into that usually with some idea of like, okay, I'm gonna do this persona, or I'm curious about this specific part of this game or this character, and you have like, you either have or you develop an idea of what is the thing in this video, what's the idea, build it out, riff on it, and or in editing, find it and edit it, have your editor make it so that that's the focus of the video. I really don't approach it in that way. I'm here to like react, and it's more like improv. My entire life is more like improv. But you have a much more specific creative direction.
Yeah, I think
well, that's pretty much it. I mean, how do you react to that, I guess?
No, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. It's about, when you make a YouTube video versus streaming, you are trying to craft a product that is technically going to live, quote unquote, forever. So for me, when I make things like that, even gameplay videos, it is just very much like, okay, what is this unique entity here, this one thing? Whereas streaming, it's very open, unless there are people that do like high production streams and live shows and stuff like that. And I think those fall under a different category, because like in terms of performative, it's about the same in terms of playing games streaming or playing games on YouTube. It's harder to do like, it's nearly impossible to do like sketches and stuff live unless you're doing some kind of a play type thing. But for me, I feel like streaming it chains you to a desk for 5-6 days a week, hours on end, and it becomes very much like a regular job. And I'm not saying that what I do with YouTube isn't a regular job, but it does feel like I have more freedom as primarily a YouTuber than a streamer would. And I look at streamers that are on for 12 hours a day, and I get that for most of the people that stream, they would be there 12 hours a day playing game anyway. But it's like I often feel like they would have more time to do things if they didn't stream so much, you know what I mean? And yeah, they do have YouTube channels where they put their streams and cut downs on YouTube, and that's a successful way to go about it, and it can definitely like be beneficial to do. But that's why I don't just do game stuff on YouTube. I do creative endeavors. I feel like I can be more creative just doing YouTube videos. So for me, I will say that I think making videos on YouTube is better than streaming. I'm gonna say it.
I think that's a funny perspective on it, because I feel exactly the same way that streaming, you are tied to the schedule and you set the schedule, and I think a lot of streamers go really overboard, and like the grind is part of it. To get from 0 followers to it being your career, the grind is necessary. And like I have lived that life where I streamed more than I do now. I stream a good deal these days, but like that is hard. But that's actually something that I think I like about it. As a person who gets distracted by everything in existence, that having a set schedule where I have to do something, and it's not like I have to get this done, you know, nebulously. There's a deadline. It has to be posted a certain day or something. It's inescapable. I have to stream on my scheduled stream times, and I still show up late because I get distracted and thrown off track. But I like that structure. A little bit of structure, and especially structure that I get to control, makes it less mentally taxing on me and makes it feel less crazy. When my life was only trying to record, and it was like, you can do whatever you want. I could be as creative as I want. I could sit down and play a game. I could try and come up with a more complicated idea to execute, to record. That's like too much freedom for me on a daily basis. That leads me to decide nothing. That leads me to be less productive. Then I get what you're saying about losing the time of constantly having, you know, streaming 5 hours a day, 7 hours a day, whatever. You can't do anything else. But I need that. I'm like a child. I crave that structure. And like you could still just cancel a stream. I know streamers treat their schedule and the grind like it's some sacred thing. It's not a fucking badge of honor that you streamed 100 hours this week. It's great for you because it means you probably made good money and it means you got good growth. But you're allowed to take time off. If you have something in your real life that you have to take care of come up with family, or, you know, like I'm buying a house right now. Mandy and I are buying a house. I've canceled several streams because I had to be on the phone with people and getting paperwork together and finding financial documents and all this boring shit. It's not a badge of honor that you put your stream over anything else in your life in terms of importance, but you do, like, you have to prioritize it. So I totally agree with what you're saying, but I see that also as a benefit for my personality and how I like to work.
I do think streaming definitely takes a lot more time. YouTube, it's like you could spend a day. This is also, I'm speaking about from a gaming perspective, because obviously, like Mark, I think another one of the big draws to YouTube is you've done so much really cool shit. We've gotten to be a part of some really cool shit that you've gotten to build, like heist. Even the video where we just got like smash fucking bottles and fake bricks and shit over each other, like that was really fun. But just all of that stuff and the toys we got to play with over there, like that's really, really cool. I've never been great at editing. Obviously, Dana edits all my YouTube videos still, but I've always felt a disconnect from my product on YouTube and myself because I never felt like I was a good editor and I never put the time in to become one. But with Dana editing, it's like I would just record a video and I would never see anything again other than the comments posted because I wouldn't watch my own shit and stuff. Where with streaming, there's like that live feedback aspect. And I don't know, I've gotten more comfortable being myself through streaming, though. Like you said, it is a much more big time investment because you stream, 6 hours one day, and it's not like you can take it's like, oh, I'm done for the week, I've got all my stuff done. Because it's like streaming, you have to stream, somewhat consistently. You don't have to stream 10 hours a day, but you do have to stream somewhat consistently because you're really making your revenue while you're live and so on and so forth. Whereas YouTube, like I said, I could grind out an 8-hour workday on YouTube and it's like, okay, well, I've got videos for the week done, or I've got videos for 2 weeks done, and that's what we would do for the tour. Is I'm sure we all grinded a bunch of content and then either tried to get it edited or edited while we were traveling and stuff. And you guys were working on one of the tours. I know you guys were working on
Who Killed Markiplier. Yeah.
And you were editing that on the go. But like with streaming, it's like if we didn't stream from like one of the venues or whatever else, it's like then you're just not making any content. So the con to streaming is you constantly have to be doing it. It's much more of a time investment, I think. And there's that pressure of being live, not being able to edit anything out. Then you also can't. You can add some. I mean, streams come a long way now where people do a lot of like cool scenes and fun transitions and stuff, but there's still something about a YouTube video. I like watching content live, but I don't like watching stream VODs. And people are always like, wait, I'm going to watch the VOD. I'm like, I don't know why you would. I hate watching stream VODs myself because a YouTube video, like talking to chat live is one thing, but when you're watching a video after the fact, it's like someone like goes on a tangent talking to their chat. And it's like, play the fucking game, fucker. Then I'm that person watching. I would never say it, but then my brain, I'm like, come on, I just want to see what happens. I'm watching RimWorld. Play RimWorld. Play it. And watching YouTube, it's like, okay, some of the boring shit's cut out. I can actually see the action. I can kind of doze off watching somebody mindlessly grind in this game or that game. So I enjoy both content in different times, different ways, but just my personality, I think, meshes better with streaming than it ever did with YouTube. And I still love YouTube, but I don't know. I really feel like I hit my stride with live content more so than I ever did with YouTube videos. And I never did the creative stuff like you do. And I think that would affect me if I had the creativity and the drive and the talent to do those kind of videos like you do. I would totally, I think, enjoy YouTube a lot more than I do. Or I shouldn't say YouTube in general, but just video creation versus live streaming.
What we're saying is you're stupid for your opinion, Mark. How do you feel about that?
There's a reason you've been fake for 2 weeks.
That's what happened in that whole spiel.
His point is you're an idiot.
I think what he
Bob
said
read my mind
was,
directly here.
I am so diversely skilled that YouTube is the only obvious outset for my genius. I think that's what Wade says.
His point was you're such an unfocused blabbermouth that your content needs to be edited, or it's just going to be 9 hours of you sucking your own dick about how much you love bone broth and how you're only sleeping 8 hours a day or whatever.
I mean, when I stream for 8 hours and talk about bone broth, my audience retention is high. I think what he said was all these streaming Wade's words, slack-jawed idiots who can't figure out how Premiere works have to do streaming. Wade's words.
I don't even think it
have
does
to
work.
do
It's
streaming
fake.
because they can't even figure it out in the first place. Wade's words, not mine.
I am pretty stupid, and I might have said those things, but I want to go back to a point you made about bone broth again.
Yeah, what's up?
We started this call, chat. Breaking news. I'm an idiot. The most dangerous thing on the planet I'm holding in my hand right now. It's an Airhead candy. I broke a fucking tooth Sunday night eating an Airhead. My front tooth. I will. Right there.
Grandpa Wade over here can't even eat soft, chewy candy.
Well, it's kind of cold in my office. I think the Airheads are a little bit tougher down here than
Everybody's had the crunchy Airheads. We all know they're not gummies. They're not just soft, malleable sugar. They're hard.
They're tough. They're hard.
He
They're like,
overturned his boxes of
vicious
tech he's never
fang.
opened, found a crusty Airhead at the bottom of it, was like, ooh, candy.
Listen,
the Halloween 2014
they're
Airhead.
very dangerous. They should be kept away. They should be locked in a safe and kept away from children at all costs. I broke a tooth. I had the strongest teeth on the planet, and my steel titanium fang bit into that Airhead, and the Airhead sawed my tooth right in fucking half. So this morning I got up and I got to go repair my tooth, which was actually it looks better than it did before, so they did a really good job. But I got into a call with Mark right before we went live, and I was like, yeah, I had to get my tooth repaired. And he's like, oh, you know what you need is more bone broth in your diet. Get that collagen. And we started having this just immediately. It was like Mark being gone for 2 weeks. Like, how you doing, man? Get that bone broth. It's like, oh, all right. I see we're picking right up.
I see why you have to edit your videos now.
I'm sorry that me, being the person that I am with the interests, still want to talk about the same things that interest me. It hasn't changed, but okay, whatever.
Mark, how'd your week off go? Well, bone broth.
I didn't even talk about that on it. It was good. Look.
Any question we ask you.
Well, bone
You
broth.
didn't even listen because the latest trend is pork rinds.
Pork rinds. I know. I
Pork
was listening.
rinds.
You and Bob both talked about pork rinds.
Hey,
rinds.
pork rinds are good.
Pork
I'm
rinds are
not
good.
You
making
want
fun
to
of
live
pork
a
rinds right
healthy
now.
life. Pork rinds and bone broth is all you need.
That's all you gotta eat, man.
Yeah, man. Chicken
Pork
feet,
rinds
pork
and
rinds, bone
bone
broth.
broth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the good stuff. Don't forget the chicken feet. That's also important, too. Yeah.
I don't know if I don't want to endorse chicken feet.
Why don't you want to endorse them? What's
Even
wrong
if
with
they
it?
got the little toenails clipped off, I still have concerns about chicken feet.
Anyway,
Everyone
back on
curious.
topic. Wade.
Watermelon flavor was the culprit that took my.
Oh, it wasn't the
my
Airhead.
dignity.
It was watermelon. Watermelons are
Watermelon
notorious
flavored
tooth
Airhead.
breakers. Something
It's
that
very
is
tasty.
90% water is just dead bound to break some teeth. That's what I'm
Can
saying.
you suck an Airhead instead of chew on it? I want to eat more, but I'm afraid to bite into one ever again.
They're
Yeah,
if
they'll
you put it-
dissolve. Yeah, what?
You just like
Do you
What?
like dry your mouth out completely, put the Airhead in your mouth, and just and try and eat it as like dust without moistening it at all?
I peel the wrapper and then I take a bite and then I kind of like move it around in my mouth, play with it with my back teeth a little bit,
I
and
don't
then
want to
like
hear
slowly
this,
chew it
man.
up till it's
I
gone.
don't want this, man.
You wait till you hear the airhead from in your mouth go, I'm gonna breathe. And then you swallow it. You give it what it wants.
Yeah, you gotta tease it with the tongue and the teeth a little bit until it's just like, eh! And then you're like, oh, there's the squeak.
You know what old people do, Wade?
No.
You could peel the wrapper back, use your frail arthritic fingers to bend it back and forth. If you have the strength in your hands, bend it until it breaks. Then you stick your tongue out. Make sure you don't accidentally whack it on any teeth, because that'll just shatter them right out of your head too. Set it on your tongue, retract the tongue into the mouth, and it'll dissolve delightfully in your warm, moist mouth cavity.
So you don't like bite a piece off first? Because that's where I went wrong.
No, that's not what old people do. Frail
people say
old.
Bite off with your back teeth, but like having a beard or a mustache, mine's trimmed up right now, but the bushy one is like it would just be stuck in my beard if I, you know, you gotta.
Where are your back teeth located?
Not where my lips are.
I'm familiar with
really,
teeth
like-
and beards, and I cannot imagine how biting something with your back teeth gets it stuck.
How do
in
you
your
bite
beard.
something off? Like if you're eating a chicken wing, how do you put the whole bone in your mouth? Like how do you get it to your back teeth to bite?
Why are we biting chicken wings with our back teeth? What is happening?
The airhead is very similar. How
What you do is you
position this-
open your mouth, you peel the wrapper back a little further, you stick it in your mouth from like the side so it touches maybe the corner of your
You
lip.
know all those teeth you bypass to get to the back teeth? Those work too.
How do you
No,
not bite
they're
with your
gonna
front
break,
teeth while
Mark.
biting with your back teeth?
It's an angle thing. It has nothing to do with a beard. You know what? I'm starting to think more and more of the problem
Can
might
you
be.
show? Can I get a YouTube tutorial of how to eat an airhead with my back teeth, please?
I've sat with you, Wade, eating wings a lot. Have I not looked closely? Do you pop the whole wing into your mouth?
No, I do not. I use my
Swirl it
front teeth
around,
just
spit
like
out
I
the
do with
bone,
an
because I
airhead.
swear.
Yeah, bite. I was told by the dentist the reason I'm a nail biter too, but the reason front teeth tend to chip is biting things where you put like your bottom teeth and your front teeth together and bite into something, because your front teeth aren't really designed for that or whatever. So when you're biting into like
My teeth itch now that we've been talking about this so much. It's very strange. They itch. My teeth itch.
That's
how
weird.
the fuck do your teeth itch?
They itch. I don't know, man. I feel my teeth. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I just
Wade's
need
just
to know
cursed.
how you bite an airhead without using
If
your
you
front.
pull my stream up, I will show you
I'm
on
pulling it up.
on a comb that I use to comb my hair, the physics and geometric problems you need to solve in order to bite something with only your back teeth. That is the approximate shape and size of an airhead. Let me know when you got it pulled up.
All right, I've got it pulled
All right,
up.
I'm gonna make my face extra big just for you.
Okay, please.
Here's the
I'm on a little bit of a
face.
delay
Okay,
for some
ready?
reason, but I think that's on my end.
So here's my comb. This is my airhead substitute.
Okay.
What you're gonna want to do: open your mouth, open your chompers. Take the airhead, insert it directly in your mouth until it hits the back of your throat. Cool. I'm glad you did that. Now take that out. Now what you're gonna do is hold it at an angle, pointing into your opposite cheek, and then just put it between your back teeth, and then just bite. And see how I'm biting the comb with my back teeth and no other teeth? And then you go, yeah, and you bite it off.
Yeah, but then it's pressed up against my lip cheek on the one side.
Your airhead cannot simultaneously be so hard that it cracks your tooth and so soft that particles get caught in your beard when you take a bite in that way. There's no such thing.
I think what it is, this is a crystallized airhead that when he bites it, it like
Yes.
particularizes. And airheads are not supposed to be like that. You did not eat an airhead.
It's because it's so cold in my office.
That's not how it works.
I'm wearing socks, and I never wear socks
That's not how
except
it
for with
works.
shoes.
That's not how sugar works. That's not how temperature works.
I legitimately don't think you ate an airhead. I think you found something colorful in your
Did
office.
you spill a pixie stick into an area and it just sat there and sort of half congealed, and then you picked up an unwrapped pile of sugar off the floor and thought, an airhead, and then actually it's just like rock hard pixie stick chunks.
Yeah, maybe we were operating under the wrong assumptions. Wade,
We
describe
assumed that Wade would know what an airhead was.
Wade,
I am
describe.
literally holding a product that is sealed with the name Airheads
Well,
on it.
that's
Says
not the one
cherry.
that broke your tooth, is
Yeah,
it?
no.
No, it was watermelon that broke my tooth, and I'm
They
told
don't
that if I
even
put this
make-
between my thighs, I can preheat it before I
They
bite
don't
into
even make watermelon.
Then you
Airheads.
just
I'm
solved your
placing this Airhead
problem.
between my. It's slobbery and wet, and that's really gross. But now it's
Why
between
is
my
it
thighs to heat up.
Because he
I
put,
had
even
the
though it's
wrapper in my
wrapped,
mouth.
he put it in his mouth
Oh.
because
I had to learn how to eat sideways.
Oh.
All right, my thighs are now preheating this cherry Airhead.
You could rub it between your thighs is okay.
And
you know
that's
what?
why streaming is better.
you know what? As
Good
ineffective
argument.
as that argument may be, it is irrefutable.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's not a
Where
thing that
else?
Mark could say to prove any of that wrong.
You don't get
guess.
this kind of content in YouTube videos. You only get good content. If you want shit content, you are the right place.
Truer words. Truer words, my friend.
Now
My
what we
thighs don't naturally go together like this. This is really awkward feeling. Can I just sit on it like a egg or something?
Put it in your armpit.
I said you could rub it between your hands. It's
No,
frictional.
why are you ruining this? Come on.
Okay.
I really put it in my armpit first, but hands is also.
You know
really
where the
good.
warmest part of the human body is?
Between
Ball
my ass
sack.
cheeks.
Inside
okay.
the anus.
Oh, you
Ball
did
sack
it.
is actually colder than the rest of
After
the body.
after Dr. Gorilla Hands, I don't know that that's true anymore. There's too much of a cavern.
It gets too much of a breeze in there. It
It's like a
cools it
frost
down right
cavern at
away. Yeah.
this point.
Yeah, I get you.
There's stalactites, stalagmites, icicles.
If you got
This is a steady
stalag
slope.
mites or
Interior of
tights,
Wade's pants.
This is-
Wade walks around a corner and gazes down a long tube. The wind whistles. Wade says to himself, "My anus will never be the same."
if you can hear an echo from inside your own ass, you got problems, man.
I could yodel into that puppy.
When you sit down to make number twos, they just come rattling out.
There's no making. It's like a. Never mind. I'm not gonna go.
You know that boulder
Oh,
from
come on,
Indiana
we're fully committed
Jones?
to this. What do you mean? It's
That's what Wade go to the
sitting on the toilet is equivalent to trying to swap the idol with the sandbag. It triggers an unstoppable chain of events. You gotta just hold on and wait for it to reach the end.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's
That's
why
why-
streaming is better than YouTube.
Irrefutable.
You know, I originally at the beginning I forgot that, you know, just video creation as its own also exists in other forms now. TikTok is another avenue by which people can make standalone video content. You can stream on TikTok, but it is technically short form video content, whereas YouTube is more long form. There is some short form, but that is another avenue of content creation that we have not
TikTok
considered.
is sick, dude.
It is. Privacy concerns aside, like their algorithm is pretty impressive. I gotta
Oh
admit.
God! Don't post anything on TikTok.
Oh,
Tick.
Oh, yeah.
Don't post anything, but watch it. It's great stuff.
Oh, it's getting so soft.
Okay, I think we've lost Wade.
I'm just super excited. I don't think I'm gonna eat this right now, but I just wanted to make it soft.
Did I say something wrong? Everyone is saying you can stream on TikTok.
You can
I
go
said,
live on TikTok.
I said you can, right? They're
I thought
dumb,
that was what
right?
you said.
That is what I said. They're all
No, you're
idiots,
not
right?
even real, dude. What's it matter what you
Yeah,
said?
no, that's right. Hey, shut up. Hey, you're interrupting our podcast. Shut up. Where's the
Yeah,
keys? Can you
get 'em.
dangle keys in front of their face again? They're not
There's a
supposed
really
to be here.
hard. Is there a button, like a pants button in this Airhead? There's a perfectly round hard spot. Right? Is my tooth sealed in this one?
That doesn't even make sense.
Why would it be? What? Those cannot be airheads.
I'm not gonna pull up the stream and look. I'm just
You
gonna
can't see
assume
it.
Yeah.
Wade
can't
can't
see it, there's a-
read, and what he's holding is a Jolly Rancher. And he doesn't know what airheads are.
Cherry.
Jolly Rancher. Just sound it out, Wade.
A rancher. Oh God, you're right.
Hey, what the hell? I saw that, Lorelai. Lorelai just blocked butthole on my stream. Blocked the term butthole. How dare you? How
Chat, do you see
dare
this button lump?
Anyway,
How dare you?
I think our debate is pretty much settled. The question that we raised, or not, I'm not sure.
You see that?
Oh, and now Automod is going crazy because everyone's trying. Look at what you've done. Look at what you. My mods are out of control. My mods
Pretty
are
sure
gone
you
rogue.
did that, Mark.
No, they clearly.
That's hard as can be.
Anyway, was there anything else we were going to talk about? I honestly.
Did we reach a conclusion?
That's
I
what took
also
my
just
tooth. YouTube took my tooth.
Well, okay, maybe they've taken many things. I will say that, like, I don't think that people who stream are in making the wrong choice. Like, definitely, there's benefits to it. It's for me. I prefer to make individual videos, whether it be on YouTube or whatever. Right now it's YouTube. I prefer to make that because I like the process of it. I enjoy it. I feel more satisfied with the finished product. And I think that that's part of what it is. I always like finished products. I like that. With streaming, it's always felt so open-ended that unless it was like a charity stream where there's a like an arc to it and there's an end, like it feels less tangible, you know. It feels inconclusive. It feels open-ended, and I never like things to be open-ended, you know. So, yeah, that was what I would say. I don't think that streamers are sad losers. I don't think that. Wade thought that, but not me.
I did.
Me.
I still do. I'm one of them. Now that I'm part of the community, I know what we are.
Yeah.
And we're still superior than those dorks on YouTube. Even though I'm both. Oh God, I'm a hybrid.
No, you know who we're better than? It's people who aren't
TikTok.
streamers. No.
Oh.
Remember the joke, TwitchCon guy? All right, the joke is dead. God,
What
I
joke?
thought that was funny.
What is the
Remember
joke?
that guy at TwitchCon who was like, somebody asked him why he didn't like interacting with his fans or whatever, and his response was effectively like, I'm not saying that because I'm a streamer I'm better than you, but like, we're different, you know. I'm not the same as you. Then that, and everyone like lost their shit. That was like 5 years ago version of all the streamers now who were like, $5. You can't afford $5. You want me to stream for you and you're not even gonna subscribe to me?
Yeah.
$5. That happened again this past week. Where there was some guy who went viral on like live stream fail or something because he has every stream he has like a donation goal, and if chat doesn't meet the donation goal, he just cuts stream. And he was giving chat shit. He was like, "No, I'm ending it. Look at that. You've only donated 45 of the $50. I'm ending it right now."
Oh my god.
The fuck? What's wrong with people, man? Maybe streamers are worse.
No. God, if we wanted to go through YouTubers' dirty laundry,
I mean,
we'd
that's
have
true.
to look at
YouTubers do
various
some terrible
prisons. Like, it's like it's shitty people across the board. It's just I think it's just boils down to preferential of how you like to create things. As at the end of the day, it's entertainment. That's what it is at the end of the day, and people like to consume entertainment differently. So.
I would say some of the shitty YouTubers are probably worse than some of the shitty streamers because this is the only reason I say that. When you're live, whatever you say, even if you want to word it a different way, is just already out there and gone. It's out of your hands. YouTube, you have, unless you're streaming on YouTube, but videos, you have the opportunity to edit and remove things you say that sound really stupid or outlandish or you shouldn't say. And if it still makes it past that filter, or even if you have an editor, multiple filters and gets out there, then you got even a worse problem because you're not even self-aware of the fact that you're an idiot and a monster and stupid and evil.
Yeah.
Twitch, you know, I can see, obviously people say stupid stuff on Twitch, but I can see where sometimes someone's trying to make a point and like something they say gets taken out of context and it's like, oh my God, they said that thing. And one, they're either saying it sarcastically or they're saying it, you know, as part of a bigger thing, whatever, or they're just an idiot and misworded things. But yeah, with YouTube, if you post something on YouTube and it gets out there and it's like, I don't know, you had to, one, say it, and then two, let it pass your filter and or an editor's filter, and everyone's just like, that's fine. That's a good thing to say. Let's post that on the internet. So that's why streaming is irrefutably better.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's a good closing
That airhead
argument.
tasted really
Try,
weird.
say
I should not have
something,
eaten
Mark?
that.
No.
The taste was off.
I was just flabbergasted by the amount of truth he was dishing out, and I felt humbled by it.
Dude, if you cut me open from like chin to ball sack, only truth will spill out.
What does truth look like to you?
It's very messy.
Do you want to see the truth of me?
Probably
Do
a
you?
bit more fat on the truth than there should be too, if I had to be honest.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cut me
Anyway.
open chin to balls, and my fatty truth will be exposed to the world.
Okay, man. Why chin to balls? Why just the chin?
The other parts aren't full of truth. You know what's in there.
Do you think the things
Come on,
that come out of
man.
the mouth are true, Mark? No,
Can't be all truth. How's he alive?
It's like cutting open a puffer fish. There's a poison gland in there. You don't want the lye sack out of there. You know the lye sack I'm spilling out. No.
Is that what happens when people are liars? Their lie sack is like leaky or just big.
It's like
It
dogs
excretes
leaking anal
extra
glands.
lie juice into the
Yeah.
body.
Yeah, occasionally go to the doctor and have them squeeze out your lie glands and clean them out a little bit for you. They get
that-
real nasty.
To express your lie gland.
Express your lie.
Yeah, I got your lie glands expressed. You can do it at home, but it's very tricky.
It's actually it's great if you have a significant other. It's great to have your partner express your lie glands. Really,
my God,
it's a
yeah.
bonding experience.
Though sometimes you don't want to expose them to your lie glands, and then you got to avoid them too, and maybe get like a parent or something to help.
It's like District 9. If you get lie juice sprayed on your face, you become a lie monster.
Yeah.
Real nasty, sticky substance. Hard to get out of.
These aren't terrible analogies, you know. These could work. The District 9 one kind of works.
I'm not familiar with District 9. Is that one of the Hunger Games places?
Great movie.
It is a good movie.
No, it's a
Is it-
really
it's a
good
standalone?
movie. It's a
Okay.
District 9 came out in the mid 2010s, I want to say, early 2010s.
The effects are stunning in it.
It's beautiful. It's
Beautiful.
fantastic. It's a great demonstration of how to 3D animate characters, just like alien life characters. Awesome.
Yeah,
super awesome.
I
The
saw
alien
break-
tech is awesome.
Corridor just did a breakdown of it in terms of the
Oh,
effects
really?
on their VFX Reacts. So I think the most recent one,
Oh,
and
wow.
they broke it down. I was like, oh my god, that actually is incredible. Like I cannot tell the difference. Like that is probably the most lifelike thing, and it helps because they're aliens, obviously. But it is easily one of the most lifelike things, and it was many years ago, and it was on a budget too. Like it was on a low budget.
Yeah, it was not a huge blockbuster movie. They made it on a relatively small budget. I have always thought that was an underrated movie because it came out and people generally liked it, but it sort of faded away. It's
Yeah.
a great movie. It stands up. The visual effects are fantastic. in it.
2009.
Wow, older
Yeah.
than I thought.
Yeah. And if correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was originally in development. It was supposed to be like a Halo movie. I'm pretty sure.
I think I remember that
yeah, I
as
heard
being true or something like that.
something about that, and then it got changed over to that. And
They
it-
do kind of look like elites. Like they look like if someone saw a picture of an elite and then were forced to like invent a species around it or something.
Yeah, I can't remember the specifics of why or why not or how it changed over or something like that. But District 9, I definitely enjoyed that movie. It was very, very good. And the story was good. Like it actually had a
Yeah.
compelling story. So,
You should watch it, Wade.
Okay, I will. I didn't realize that it was its own thing. I
It's-
always thought
it's
when
a-
people reference District 9, it was like one of the. Aren't the Hunger Games different zones called districts?
Yeah, they're called districts.
Yeah.
And that
I think I just always assumed that's what was being referenced.
that's entirely possible because the Hunger Games are way more popular than this
Yeah.
one sci-fi movie ever was. But I actually need to run to the bathroom really quick.
All
I'll
right,
be right
go
back.
for it.
Sorry, boys.
that's okay.
Are we taking a tight 5?
Well, I'm not. I'm
You
good.
can if you want, but I just
I'll carry on alone. I'll get the insult going.
I really want more water.
Go
So,
for
Mark,
it. Yeah.
Hold the line and don't spread any lies while we're gone.
All right. Cool.
Don't express your glands.
All right, cool, good. All right, now that they're gone, I want to tell you why YouTube's so much better than streaming. It's just so many ways that you can be creative and stuff like that. And anyone who chooses streaming is just gotta be dumber than dirt. These are Wade's words and not mine. I am not speaking from my own mind. I'm speaking from Wade's words. He thinks that just streaming is just the dead end of all. No, I'm just kidding. It really just comes down to personal preference. So I don't want anyone thinking that one is better than the other, like especially in terms of like the people that try to do streaming versus YouTube as like a career path. And I always advise against looking at it as a career path, because creation has to always start from a place of wanting to express yourself, and whatever creative aspect you're trying to do, it has to come from that core. And if you don't enjoy what you're expressing about yourself, then you're never going to enjoy doing it. If you also, streaming is good because it can be less about a creative endeavor and more about a social endeavor. And that is one thing that streaming has that YouTube does not. You look at the active chat in any stream, it is way more active than any comment section of, say, YouTube. YouTube's comment section hasn't been usable in a long time, and I doubt anyone is meeting another person in like YouTube chat. Streaming does allow for a lot more social things to go on, and that is beneficial about that. If you are a social person and you're a naturally entertaining social person, then you could have a good career in streaming. Or at least a satisfying hobby in streaming, just because it's an outlet for a different aspect of yourself. It's not so much creative; it's more just like accessing social. So it's up to everybody. There really is nothing about it. But other things that I wanted to talk about in my life is which zone in World of Warcraft is the best zone ever made, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt, the Grizzly Hills in World of Warcraft is the best zone that ever existed. And I am not alone in my thought process behind this, but I cannot tell you how beautiful that zone is. If you've ever played World of Warcraft and you have been there, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't been there and you've played World of Warcraft, then you need to go to the Grizzly Hills and experience it. I listen to the Grizzly Hills ambiance. You go on YouTube right now and you search up Grizzly Hills music, and you go. There's like an hour-long mix of Grizzly Hills that shows you the landscape, the area, and it plays the music. It's the most beautiful music I think in World of Warcraft. And number two, it's just such a gorgeous zone. It's fantastic. I love the Grizzly Hills. Anyway, so the reason hello.
Hello.
Hi, what's up?
Not much. Talk about Warcraft?
Yeah, man. Grizzly Hills. You ever been there? That's all I talked about.
My face kind of looked like that before I shaved recently. Is that a new zone?
No, it's an old zone, actually. Wrath of the Lich King.
But maybe? I don't remember all the places. Jesse took me on quite an adventure where we did a whole bunch of old raids. Are they called raids?
Yeah, well, the raids are dungeons. It depends on what you're doing.
Okay, yeah, we did a whole bunch of older stuff like that for some of the cosmetics and whatnot. And yeah, I actually grinded up a character. I didn't use the level up thing. I actually grinded a character from like 1 to 100 or whatever, 110. We were doing some of those along the way.
Yeah. Anyway, I was mainly talking about like game music that stuck with me, because the Grizzly Hills in World of Warcraft, I actually listened to it recently, and it just made me remember how much I loved it and being in that zone. And like game music in general, I think it's just something that a lot of people overlook.
We're talking about game music?
I mean, tangentially, yeah.
Interesting.
It's like in World of Warcraft, there's this zone called Grizzly Hills, and the music in there is just probably some of the most beautiful game music I've ever heard in my life. It invokes a lot of memories for me, which is number one why it's important. But also the first time I went into that zone and I listened to music, I'm like, holy shit, this is too beautiful. What the hell is happening? Like the whole zone is gorgeous, but the music is it enters your soul. It's that kind of music. It just really just sticks to you. Oh, Howling Fjord is great. Don't get me wrong. The intro to Howling Fjord is great, but being in Grizzly Hills, you would never get tired of that music. Never, ever. There's a lot of good times. But game music in general, just like I thoroughly enjoy really well done game music and ambiance.
I don't normally notice or pay attention to the music all that much because I guess I'm just like so caught up in whatever the story is or what I'm trying to accomplish. But like some of the games like I remember really enjoying like Skyrim's soundtrack, even just the opening like menu music, all of that. Any Star Wars game, Star Wars music's always like been amazing to me. So like all the Star Wars games, hearing like the different themes play and stuff. I don't remember WoW's music all that much. I only played it like enough to level up one character or whatever, and I was kind of like talking to a friend along the way, so I wasn't really paying a whole lot of attention. But there's something to be said about music that just really, like I've noticed with movies more. I haven't noticed it in games as much. Movies and shows, I've definitely noticed the soundtracks a lot more lately. Trying to watch shows like The Mandalorian and stuff, where they have like different characters, like the Star Wars universe characters have. I'm sure a lot of, I think that Marvel, probably everything, where certain characters have their own theme. So like there's Captain America's theme or Luke's theme and so on and so forth. I've been much more on top of noticing when those kinds of things start playing. But I haven't done it as much in gaming.
Dude,
I really should focus on gaming
theming
too.
is something that is neglected a lot in movies. Not so much lately with the advent of like superhero movies, because it's iconic for like superheroes to have themes. But like there's so much emotional resonance and inherent nostalgia when you hear a theme evolve. You know what I mean? Like you hear it. Like the Avengers is probably a good example of it. Like the Avengers theme, it really had a lot of power in the last Avengers movie when it came up for that climactic moment. That moment literally would not have been as impactful if it hadn't had the build of the characters, number one, yes, the story, number two, but the music also being there to showcase.
Dude, it was amazing.
It really was. And it's like so many things, movies these days, they often will score for emotion as if they want people to feel a certain way, and they won't score for like themes and like stuff like that. It's why a lot of Wilbert Norman's Skimbo Bumbos, Flumby Dum. Oh boy!
What movies you talking about, Mark?
Inception Man. Who did that guy? Philip J. Hoffman. No. Oh, what's his name? Help.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, the director.
The director.
Scorsese?
No, Inception.
What's his name? Wes Anderson.
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan, yeah, and Hans Zimmer by extension, yes. That's what, like Hans Zimmer has done all the scoring for Christopher Nolan's movies, I believe, and Hans Zimmer is a good example of making very simple but iconic themes for
Nolan did the
characters,
Batman
stuff like
movies too, right?
The trilogy.
Yeah.
Dark Knight trilogy, yeah.
Was the music good? Those were really good. I
That,
can't remember the
again,
music.
Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer is really good at that kind of stuff. Like it's like he has like some videos on YouTube and masterclass, I think, that I've meant to watch but I haven't. But you just like getting musical iconic things that people can remember and relate to and build emotions off of is so it's so overlooked. It's hard to do, but also like if you get the right people to do it, why wouldn't you do it? You know what I mean? It's why in a lot of the videos that I make, I have like I enjoy recalling certain musical themes to it because it puts people in the right mindset and it makes the connection obvious. So like I just like that a lot. I think it's not done at all. I haven't seen Tenet yet. I want to, but haven't
seen what?
Tenet, the latest Christopher Nolan one. But
I haven't seen it yet. either.
Yeah, music's pretty good. I like music too.
It's weird for me to yap on about music so much because I do not listen to music in my spare time. I don't pursue music. And I've fallen out of like trying to pursue music a while, like 2 years ago. I think I just meant to. I like game music though. I like scores. I like soundtracks. I like ambiance.
I have a lot more appreciation for it. So through doing Twitch and YouTube, I've gained a much larger appreciation for animation and sound than I think I ever did before. Like I never really thought about it before, but yeah, definitely just the process of animating something. Like people have made animations for us or whatever, and then sound and trying to get sound right and trying to do like the music and stuff and fill it in. Because sometimes like I'll watch content like, man, wish I'd put some background music or something behind me, and it's like trying to find the right music. And then you watch something like, like Avengers, like Endgame and Infinity War, and just like the sound is so fucking powerful. The movie's great, the acting's great, everything else. But like this, like you said, there's some moments where it's 100% the background stuff that just takes foothold and takes like over the whole scene. And it's like, that's part of the reason I think why Star Wars it was so good. The sound in Star Wars was fucking ridiculous. That opening crawl and just like it really sets the tone for the sound and everything. The sound of the lightsabers, just everything. I don't know. I remember when you and I were talking and you said sound is even more important than visual. I think you said this. I don't want to quote you wrong, but I think you said sound is more important than even like getting higher quality video early on.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
I 100% agree. I feel that way too after experiencing really great sound and things.
Yeah. I feel that video is more than half audio. Like video is 60% to 70% audio of the substance of it, because people can lose a story, people can lose track of characters, but even if you don't understand music and you don't know it on an expert level, like I don't know music on an expert level, but I know some of it, but even if you were just, you never read music in your life or never took a music class, you would still understand the emotions of it because it's so tied into the human experience. Like it resonates with people. It's a language that is unconscious and people can feel it. It's less words. It's more just pure emotion and thought put into the subtext of your content that people don't even need to understand. Yeah, they don't need to consciously understand it. It's World of Warcraft game music. I'm not gonna get DMCA'd for playing World of Warcraft's game music.
You might.
Oh yeah, I might. You never know.
You're not playing the game.
Whatever. If I get my Twitch banned, oh no. What will I do, guys? What will I do?
Hey.
What would I do?
That seems like a question for you to answer.
What would I do?
What would you do?
What would I do?
What would you do?
Man,
TikTok streams, baby.
Take this podcast to TikTok. We're gonna become the biggest
TikTok
podcast.
podcast is the way of the future. I tell you what, though.
Probably. You're probably not wrong about that. That's probably correct.
That, like, come on.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you on the whole music thing. It feels... I have a hard time, I guess, expressing it, because I feel like I agree with what you're saying exactly, but to me, it's obvious. To me, the music is an important part of almost anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I guess, focus on a lot and think about, even when I'm watching stuff where you can tell they didn't think about the music.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not even like original film scores and original soundtracks for stuff can be very effective or can be very terrible. But it's even just if you're playing popular music, if you're playing stuff that wasn't recorded for your purpose, there's so much impact that you could have just by having a smart music director, having someone who understands your show and the message, or your movie and the message, or whatever, and understands whatever genre. Like, people usually specialize or have something that they go to, but whatever it is, they like, you don't need original scoring to have music that's intensely impactful and perfect, and it elevates everything that's happening visually to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is something. I mean, it's hard. I think it's easy to look at something and be like, oh, they didn't even care about the music, they overlooked it. And I think it's hard to tell if they overlooked it or if they got the best, they got the best music director they could, and they did what they could. But there's licensing restrictions, and there's a lot of technical issues with using other people's music or making good music on your own. It's not, it's as easy as it is modernly to produce really good sounding music with one person and like a MIDI controller and a good audio workstation. It's still not just like anyone who's trained and talented can just always make a banger. Like, it does take, some skill, and you need the time and the investment to really get to a good finished product, even if you have a person who's capable of it. But yeah, it's something that when a project is missing music, when it has crappy music or that it was an afterthought, you can tell. And it doesn't necessarily ruin the whole thing, but it's an entirely missed opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
when it comes to like music and stuff, I recently came across a quote from Adam Savage. Do you guys remember Mythbusters Adam Savage?
Yeah.
He said something recently where he said there's no recipe for success, but there is a recipe for failure, and that's thinking you have the recipe for success. And I feel like music is one of those things where like so many people come out with like a hit song and then they never quite replicate the fame from like another one of their songs. And some of the bands like, you know, that have a lot of really big hits and stuff, it's like just really impressive. Because I mean, it's really hard to figure out what it is that makes, you know, some of the theme songs so much better than others, or so much more like, I don't know, powerful to hear, or music addicting and stuff like that. I thought that was a really good quote, because like trying to think about it, it's like, yeah, I have no idea. If someone asked us like, how did we get where we are? Not that we're the most successful people in the world or anything, but like, it's really hard to think about like what we would do differently, or what we would do to find success versus kind of just stumbling into it a little bit. I thought that was a really good quote. I just wanted to share it because it came to mind when we were talking about sound.
Yeah, interesting. Like, is that quote suggesting that the recipe for failure is being certain that you are on the right path the whole time, or like that you? So
he was answering a Patreon question, and the question was basically like, knowing what you know now, if you were to start Mythbusters over, like, if you could go tell yourself, you know, or whatever, you could go into the past. What would you change about how Mythbusters started, and you know, would you change anything from the get-go? And he basically said, no, I wouldn't change anything, because we ended up being very successful, having a product we loved, and we kind of like slowly figured out what made it successful, what we enjoyed about it, what we wanted to work on and focus on as time went on. And he said he'd be afraid with messing up the formula that got them there, because he doesn't really know for sure, you know, what exactly made it so good from the get-go, but he loved the product that they had and where it went from there. But to assume that he knew what made it successful and to be able to do that from the start, he's afraid he'd mess up with the overall product or where it would end up going. Right. I think is what he was implying, is that it found success. It was a successful show. It wasn't him or Jamie even that came up with the idea. Someone came to them and wanted them to be part of the show that they were pitching.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like their original idea. So he said, like, you know, I wouldn't want to mess with the thing, because I don't want to assume I know what the recipe for success is. We found it. We were very fortunate too, and it's one of the best things we've ever been a part of. So it was him answering that question led him to say, like, he didn't know the recipes for success, but he knew the recipe for failure involved thinking people knew the recipe for success.
Right.
That I watch his YouTube. Well, I think it's his Tested, which is features him and a lot of other people, and
that's where he was answering one of the Patreon
I follow
questions,
him. Yeah, that's sort of just indicative of his like ethos when it comes to design work in general, because there are a lot of quotes of his about that. Like in another recent video, he was working on. He has the channel has a spot from Boston Dynamics, the dog robot thing. They have one of those for the purpose of Adam is like doing silly things with it and trying out engineering it, basically testing it. And he did an episode where he was trying to not humanize, but like personalize it, I don't know, make the robot seem more approachable, right?
He
was trying to make it seem like a pet as opposed to a machine. So he was like he made some cardboard like things, and he was velcroing different things and trying, and in that episode he made this big statement about like designers feel like they have to figure out what they want to do. Like, you can stare at a blank page and have a thing you need to make, but have no idea what you actually want to do or what's right, or like you have a project that you need to paint it and you can't pick the color. And he told a story about he was making this sculpture and he had finished the sculpture and he just needed to paint it, and he spent forever trying to figure out what color was this thing supposed to be, what like purely aesthetically, it was an art piece. And he was like, I could not decide, and I just looked around and I had these two paints, and they were candy cane colors, and so I just spent like a whole day painting this sculpture, this color that was hideous, it was ugly, and I just painted it like a giant arm candy cane, and it looked horrific. And it was the wrong color from the very moment I began. But when I looked at it when it was done, it spoke to me almost immediately. And I figured out what color it was supposed to be, because how jarring and how wrong that looked was inspiring. And his whole ethos of like everything he does is you don't have to start by doing the right thing. You just have to start by doing something, and even if it's the wrong thing, the progress of realizing that that's incorrect, or realizing that something doesn't work, is the step that you needed to get closer to what you are supposed to be doing for whatever the project is. And that's like a really, I don't know, that's not how I work on things, and I get that a lot. If I get a project, like if I get a sponsored video or something, and it's like, record this game and do these talking points, I look at the brief and I think about it, and I'm like, okay, need to make sure it's good. And like, that's just absolutely paralyzing. I don't know if you guys have ever felt like that, but it's the Adam Savage approach is very interesting in the way that it applies to other things, not just his sort of design and engineering work that he does.
I mean,
I've never felt.
You go.
I've never been a super creative person. I've never thought of myself as being that creative. I have a decent amount of charisma. I can talk, and I can talk out my ass when I need to and stuff. But when it came to like, let's just take school for an example. I worked best under pressure. So if I was like last minute, it was be like, bam, crunch, get it done, do what I got to do. But like art was always one of the biggest things I had to struggle with. Anything where I had to like come up with my own design. Like I like building Legos. My kind of creativity is like building in Minecraft, but I always have something I'm referencing. I very rarely does my brain like naturally just go outside the box and think of something creative on its own. I'm used to either trying to replicate or follow instructions to get somewhere. Or in like the case of a paper, it's like, it's a tried and true formula. It's like, I'm trying to prove something. So get a few points that back up what I'm trying to prove and go on and so forth from there. So when it comes to like making something, if there's not a guide to follow along the way, I'd have no idea. Like I'm thinking of like, how do I tackle this problem and solve it? I've just never been in a position where I've had to do that a whole lot. So my brain doesn't naturally go anywhere when it comes to that stuff. I'm just like, let's find where somebody else did it and try to copy their method. I wish I had a more creative brain, but that's not my strong suit.
I think you do. I think everyone does. It's just that you haven't trained it. Like, for example, I'm really good at editing. Like, I'm confident in saying that. And when it comes to the projects that I've made, when it gets to the editing phase, I know exactly what to do. It's not even a question of like, maybe this should go here or there, because before I even started filming it, I had a rough idea of what it was going to be. And then when you film it, you know exactly what you have. You see the whole picture. So when it comes to editing, and the benefit of me being able to do that is like, I go into the editing program and I'm like, okay, this is going to take me about 12, 14 hours. I know exactly where every piece of thing needs to go. I need to figure it out in the minutia, but I'm going to see what feels right as it goes along, but I know the general mood of it. And so I can look at a whole thing and be like, oh, I've got the plan in my head because I've been there 1,000 times. Whereas with writing, like this past week I was writing, it's newer to me. So it's a lot more difficult because I can't see the whole picture. I can't see exactly what's going to go where. There's a lot more figuring it out. But when it comes down to getting good at that, it's just like you practice so much that you know what generally works in general situations. So like the brain is always coming up with like random information to shoot out there for creative ideas. Creativity is always happening. You don't have to try. That's an unconscious thing. Conscious thing is trying to filter what's the right thing, and you don't know until you try. So I think, Bob, that mindset is beautiful, and I love that because it's right. And the only reason you get good at stuff is because you've done all the wrong ways, and you know generally what the good ways are going to be. So I think that I think you can be.
How much do you think self-confidence goes into it? Because self-confidence is something I've battled with a lot, and in some aspects of life, I have a lot more self-confidence than I ever used to. Like high school me, I was not confident in anything. Like I think I would have been a much better basketball player, for example, when I played basketball, if I was confident in myself and my abilities. Because I wasn't bad, and there were moments where I could certainly shine. But going into games, I always had so much self-doubt, and then it would play out that way. And even doing YouTube and Twitch, like early on, I had zero self-confidence in doing this. Now streaming, it's like I'm so comfortable being myself, it doesn't bother me. But if I have to, like, when we were doing the singing improv, singing is something I've never been comfortable doing in front of people. I'll make dick jokes and I'll sit there and I'll flail around like an asshole and make myself look like a dick all day long. But the moment like I have to try something that I feel like takes talent to do, I have so much doubt and so little confidence in myself that I feel like it hampers me even further. And I feel like creativity, that's another thing with creativity too, is I could probably be a lot more creative if I was confident in my ability to do it, but I just have so much doubt in myself that I think that hampers me even more from venturing into that aspect of my brain and trying to be creative with things. It's like watching you come up with concepts, Mark, like watching you come up with Heist and so many of the fun YouTube things you've done. I'm like, man. And then like I'll be sitting around, I'll like have this idea like, oh, I want to do something with that. And then I'll have this thought like, well, I probably couldn't pull it off all that well, and then it would just look stupid. Might as well not waste my time with it. And that has caused me to not do so much. That thought of like, probably couldn't do it the way I envisioned. Why bother trying?
Well, here's a counterpoint. I want to interject real quick, because everyone remembers the heist and A Date with Markiplier. They don't remember Markiplier's secret touch. They don't remember.
Whoa, I do. I love that.
I know you were in that
video.
If you think back to that video, that is so garbage compared to the stuff I make
But
now.
you did it. You
exactly, and
that's
that's my point. That's the difference. I go into that knowing it might suck. At the time, I was like, it's good. Yeah, it's fine. But looking back,
good.
it was
your interview with Slenderman, dude. When I was wearing your fucking suit and the weird wig and the
okay, that was good. I do admit that was good, but it was technically terrible. Like from a technical standpoint, awful. The content was good, but like from a technical standpoint, very, very bad. And remember, that only existed because we failed at the previous video. And we learned from that one that didn't work. So we needed to come up with a simpler idea. And so like my point here is just like, I get the confidence thing is a big play, and not everyone can have confidence all the time. But a lot of the time it's just like looking at it and being like, yeah, it's gonna suck because I'm not good at it yet. That helps a lot. It helps me a lot.
That's a key point, because I didn't have self-confidence in almost anything. I knew I was a good student, and I thought I could be like a good lawyer. That's what I clung to through junior high, high school, and most of college. Was like, okay, I get good grades. I think I can talk, even though I can't do it right in this moment. At the time, though, I could talk without sounding like an idiot. And I thought I could pull that off, and that was like, that's all I really had confidence in myself for. But through doing this, through doing the tour, different things, branching out, and just through repetitiveness, I've definitely gained confidence in public speak. Public speaking was something that terrified me. Now I don't sweat it at all. When we were doing the shows, I was never really scared about the public speaking aspect. It was more so like, am I going to be funny, or am I going to be an asshole, or am I going to ruin the whole show for everyone? Am I going to screw up and go up through improv and just blank, and you guys will be like, oh, Aunt Sally, and I'd just be like, yep, it's Uncle. No, you're wrong. I'm Uncle Ted.
You're calling a very specific person out, or maybe that's just my reaction to that.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
No, there was. I think you're referencing one scene in particular that Tyler. I've talked about this publicly. There was a moment where we did a scene, and I forget what the whole story was, but basically,
in the hotel room in Australia.
Maybe.
Which one, I guess, are you trying to remember? Because
there's one, I think it was in LA. There's one in LA where I think we were actually live, and I was pretending to be like a kid. I had like my thumb in my mouth, and I was trying to carry a blanket, and Tyler walked out and he's like, "Mom?" And I was like,
yeah.
And I was like, "Yep, it's me, Mama." I thought we all did very, very well. We all had our moments of blunders, and LA was my worst show by a long bit. We all had our moments of like bumbling, but I think we laughed our way through it. We got through it all. I don't think any of us was necessarily like, I don't know, problematic on stage at all. Because I mean, the audience always enjoyed what we did, even if it was stupid as fuck. Some of our opening bits, like the multiple-headed scientist or whatever, like I thought in practice, I was like, this is so stupid, but everyone seemed to eat it up.
I liked it. I don't know why you guys hated it so much. I enjoyed that game.
I thought the five-headed scientist was good, except I frequently ended up directly next to Ethan, and Ethan couldn't ever remember what was happening.
Yeah, Ethan's problem was
listening. He literally
listening.
couldn't stay focused long enough to get the 4 words to get back to him, and then whoever was directly following him was always like, just absolutely screwed.
Yeah,
I thought that was a hilarious bit, but we just struggled with it.
I think he thought it was like a come up with the first word that pops in your head kind of thing. And he did, yeah. He
I
did.
remember an example of one of the things he said, because I do remember we'd be like, it was one word per person. So
It would be like,
a question like, what are you guys going to do
and
about
then
global warming?
the with would be Ethan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, and I was always jealous that you guys got to do singing improv. Can I just say that?
But then we did it.
You didn't?
I always got to do rapping.
Oh,
improv.
you're right. You're right.
You guys always got like show tunes or stuff, and you just be like, "Oh, and then I only ever got to rap. I swear to God.
It's because you're right. It's because Dan targeted you for that.
That was unfair, Dan.
Dan did target you for rap like all the time.
Yeah,
I feel like
Tyler
it's
and I both
because
pissed
I
off
reacted.
entire
it is.
section- like,
It
well,
is exactly.
I pissed
yeah.
off a city. Tyler pissed off a whole country. So I
Yeah.
guess there's a little difference there.
I speaking of your old content though, Mark, I don't know why. I guess it's because you said you know what people remember. You know what content of yours I remember and will remember till the end of my days?
What?
Because it was so actually just shocking and not at all the content itself.
What?
Do you remember when you used to do the dangerous Let's Plays
Oh yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
Do you remember when you played Surgeon Simulator on your iPad
Mhm.
in an ice bath?
Yep, I remember.
And you shivered so badly that you dropped your iPad into the bath.
Yeah, I remember.
And then you were just so sad because you bricked your iPad. And that was the whole video.
You know what the saddest part of that was? Is
Who was that?
it came back for a bit afterwards. Like I did the rice thing, I dried it off. It came back alive and I'm like, oh thank God. And then it died. It came back long enough to say hi and then bye.
Oof.
Because I remember that I was watching that and I was like, it's funny. Please just played up the shivering. What? And then you dropped it and you went from being like, to just being like, no.
I also
did not just do that.
I
no.
felt like I ruined the recording or something too. But I was running an external card, but I was streaming, so I was just like, man, if I screwed this up, this sucks.
That would be even worse if you did that and then you couldn't even like get a video out of it.
Yeah.
It just happened and you just out an iPad.
God,
But
man.
anyway, those were the days, man. That was
Man,
that was the good
the first
Markiplier
few years of
content.
my channel were a while the west of content. I will give it
What was
that.
the
Yeah.
worst idea you ever went through with and like regretted making a video? For me, it was joining you for this fucking sour challenge.
Ah, that was
I mean,
great.
I'm sorry I missed that one. I was feeling
I
kind of sick.
still don't enjoy. I 100% still don't enjoy sour stuff after that.
That was probably the most brutally. That's
bad.
that's the most evidence that people have that I'm a masochist, which I'm not. I'm not. But that was a bad idea. Yeah, that was a bad idea.
But you did some stuff with like, on like you did like a treadmill gameplay where you're like on the treadmill and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you don't
That
have
was
any.
fine. He just scraped
I
his
scraped
knees.
the
It was
knees a bit.
fine.
I pretty much knew I was gonna fall eventually, so that's why I put the phone back there. I was just like, I'm gonna run until my legs kind of don't work anymore. So, and then I did that.
My favorite stupid thing we did was whenever was it Bob? Was it you that shot the arrow that like broke the neighbor's?
Oh, I watched that clip just the other day.
Oh, did you?
That's such
I
a
love
funny
that.
video. I circle back and watch that from time to time to remember those videos.
I went
oh
and hid
my
in the
god.
house while you guys went over there. I was like, I'm just gonna go hide.
I'm sad it's not in the video. It's not like legal or smart to do, but
Yeah.
when we actually went over and talked to your neighbor or
Yeah.
whatever, the neighbor of that house, he was so fucking chill.
Yeah.
Because I had such a sinking, because you were like, oh, we gotta go talk to him. And I was like, oh, Dad, no. Like, come on, no. And we walked over and I was like kicking the dirt and staring at my feet. And he was like, did you guys break that light? Like, yeah. I was like, thank you. God.
Yeah, that's right. He said,
Fucking hate that light,
Yeah.
dude. I'm glad you broke it. And we were just like, huh? What? What?
This is real, true. Actually,
That
everybody
was
listening,
his
this is true.
reaction. He
Yeah.
was like standing there with the broom, sweeping up glass, looking and being like, I'm so glad that you broke that light. That's the ugliest light I've been wanting to get rid of it for so long, and I wouldn't do it. And you brought, now I have to replace it. Thank you so much. And we were just like, what the fuck?
Like, Bob, in videos like that,
ever.
in games, like somehow that always works out for you. You fail so successfully every time, and I don't get it.
I know. I'm way behind. I've been posting our previous forest gameplay.
Yeah.
How did I fall down the enormous pit onto the one of the limited number of ledges that has a path that just I walked out
by
the
pure
cave.
guess,
by absolute random chance? I don't know anything about that game. I still don't. I just walked out, and while you guys were up top dying and suffering, I just wandered out. I was like, I'm back. Hey.
You almost had a full wipe there. I was within, I think, was it me?
Yeah,
Mark that
I don't know
after, right?
how
I was
you
one
got me
smack.
up. It was, yeah, and I was
either.
1 second away from like caving in there.
Yeah,
like,
and the fighting those
incredible.
like the people, I almost died. I was so close to dead when I killed the last one, and then I got to you the last second. And then Bob, didn't you just find a way up? You were just
yeah,
like, hey guys,
I
I'm
literally
back now.
was stuck on I went back, I went down and died. I jumped back down, got my stuff, and just found a cave on the side, halfway up the side of this huge pit, and just wandered out. That's like literally, that is my life. That just happens sometimes.
You are there's this SCP called SCP-6666-J, and it's about this Dr. Gerald who is never allowed to drive any sort of vehicle. Because as soon as he's behind the wheel, some cataclysmically bad thing happens and he survives. He's driven a car and exploded a whole town, demolished a building, devastated a countryside, like ran a lawnmower into space. Like it's just like he cannot get behind a car. He will never be allowed. And it's so funny because everything you touch turns to chaos. Why did you destroy my gazebo? Why did you destroy my gazebo?
I thought I was doing something really cool.
You're gonna put a hole in my gazebo.
The gazebo was so fucked. I had just got up there to look at it, and I thought for sure I'd somehow fucked it up.
Yeah, it was totally Wade, man. It was Wade. I didn't do it.
All of chat was like, Wade, I can't believe you sabotaged them. Like, everyone thought it was me.
Well, why would I do it? I was just hanging out
I'm
in the
always the one
gazebo.
who fucks up. It was so great that it wasn't me. Oh,
I didn't
God,
make a
it was
mistake. I knew
liberating.
that would happen. What are you talking about? I was testing Mark's resilience, and he failed.
He was so
Resilience
sad.
to
I
what?
don't remember the iPad reaction. I have to go back and watch that again. But
That,
he
that
so
was pretty
sad. I
equivalent
could
sadness,
feel-
to be perfectly honest.
That was very
I could
sad.
feel him being broken.
Well, it's
by
because
that.
I made that specifically for Bob, and I get it was his. He could destroy it, but it was immediately after it was done. Like
Well,
I
because
didn't.
it was Bob too. You were so nice about it. Like I could feel your pain.
That's true.
But you were just like, oh,
If
that's
Wade had
okay.
if Wade had just walked up and done that, you would have just been like, "You asshole! Ah, you son of a! You ruined every." But I did it, and you were just like, "Oh no! Oh God!"
Well, it's because in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's just Bob's nature, but oh my God.
What, Bob's nature?
It's in his nature. He can't help it, but
Oh, come on. Bullshit. He can't help it.
What? No, come on! I
Either
can't
he
help it, man.
deserves to
I'm
be
just doing
treated
stuff.
worse, or I deserve to be treated better. And I'm not sure which one.
I don't deserve none of that. I just do stuff, man. I don't know how games work. What do you?
yeah,
I
yeah.
watched
for
that
me.
clip probably a million times from your perspective, Bob. I think Kat tweeted it out. I was watching it.
It's pretty
And
good.
I kept watching it on repeat. Just your face as you're falling, like this, the moment from like the oopsies to the laughing. I just gold.
It was a long look, Mark. It was a relatively long oopsie even by my own standards. That was big oops. Okay,
It's okay. I forgive you.
that was super oopsies.
I forgive you.
That doesn't sound honest.
I
That doesn't
forgive
sound
you. It
sincere.
is honest. I honestly
Okay.
forgive you. I forgive
Okay.
you.
Do you forgive me for all the shit I've pulled over the years?
Of course I do.
Because the only moment I could think of that I probably hurt you as much was whenever we did Human Fall Flat, and I reset the raft when you and Bob were close to getting through there.
That was pretty bad. I
Because
don't
we
forgive
also
you.
ended the stream shortly after that, just like we did with the forest.
I don't know if I forgive you for that one.
That wasn't like, haha, oopsie. That was mean. That was not an accident. You knew exactly what you were doing, and you chose to do it.
Well, you guys didn't accidentally leave me behind.
We were going and doing it, and you were like, "What if I reset it right now?" And we were like, "Don't, man, come on!" And you were just like, "I'm going to reset it now," and then you did it on purpose. That was not the same as an oops.
And you waited until we were close to the top, maliciously.
No,
yeah,
that was an accident. I couldn't see from where I was.
Wade's poor treatment is justified.
Yeah, in this case, in this scenario.
That's indicative of all of his behavior.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like it was just me lashing out after all the mistreatment I've received.
So it was
over
malicious. You lashed out.
You
it
was
below consciousness, subconscious.
That's the word. There you go.
It was subterranean conscious of my liquidacious thinking. You know,
liquidacious thinking.
My liquidacious thinking.
You know, my financial advisor's been telling me I need to be a little more liquidacious.
Yeah.
You don't want your funds too rockinated. That's what I keep saying.
No. Yeah.
Rockinated money, don't spend.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing some like those George Bushisms right now with liquidacious thinking.
That's actually kind of is a.
Yeah. My thinking is very liquidacious.
Now we're gonna sign this relief package. We need to make sure the banks stay nice and liquidacious. We don't want the American automakers to go out of business now. We're gonna liquidate them. We're gonna liquidate the banks. Liquidate everybody. Liquidacious. Man, I miss him. What's that?
Well, I miss his talking at least.
I miss Will Ferrell as
the Will Ferrell
on
skits
NSL.
were really good.
He was. You know who's bad at being a president on SNL? Fucking Jim Carrey. You guys watch
yeah.
Yeah, Jim Carrey is the guy they currently have doing Biden. He's terrible. Yeah. And I'm a big Jim Carrey fan. I love most of his movies. I think he's hilarious.
I did see
he's
that.
Fucking terrible, Joe Biden.
I love Jim Carrey to death, but yeah, it wasn't very good.
No, it's bad. And like he has said, I think he has said he's not going to be doing that long term, or maybe someone at SNL did. Like they're going to figure something else out.
Yeah.
Since Biden is going to be inaugurated and whatever. But like, oh man, well, that's bad. It's bad. And Biden's so easy to make fun of. Like, come on. It's not like he's like, I appreciate that. However you feel politically, Obama as like a public speaker and as a personality, not a lot to like pick at necessarily. I feel like Key and Peele did an excellent job with Luther the Angry Translator in picking up on something about Obama that was like a fault or whatever, something he didn't do very well. But otherwise, like very well spoken, very reserved, very careful, and you know, he didn't really say like dumb shit very often. But Biden does a terrible job of being, you know, careful about what he says, speaking intelligently. He's not a hard person to make a hilarious caricature of, I feel
He's like that uncle or great uncle you get like someone walks out of the room, it's just you two in the room, and he starts talking, you're like, oh, I need an excuse to go, but I'll listen, I guess.
You know, I've told you guys that I met Joe Biden, right?
No.
I love him. He's great.
I've met him, and exactly what you're describing is exactly how he is. I was with a bunch of YouTubers that were invited to the White House, and so we were supposed to meet Obama. We were, and I was looking very much forward to that. But he was busy being the president or whatever. I don't know.
Obama, if you're watching right now, shame on you.
So Biden stepped up to the plate, and he walks in the room, and he's got that big smile on his face, and he just starts telling stories. Like it's just like here, literally when they say Grandpa Joe, like that, literally what it felt like. He just walked like, "Hey, how you doing?" Oh, all right, I can't do an impression of him, but whatever.
That was great.
No, continue. Stick with that one. I like that. I like that better than Jim Carrey's Biden.
I'm Joe Biden. Anyway, so he literally like he sits down, he's like, "What do y'all do?" He starts ask a few questions, then just starts going on stories, and just like literally was just listening to him tell stories, and they were good stories. Don't get me wrong, I can't remember what they were, but they were good stories. But that was it. Like he talks a lot. He talks a lot.
Yeah. I have a
talks a
really
lot.
bad feeling it's going to be me in a few years. I will literally be that person. It's like, oh God, don't lock me in a room with him and I'll just be talking for hours incoherently.
I could see that. I could see you telling long stories about whatever when you're just like meeting people.
I know I'm going to suck as I get older. I'm going to suck so much. I might as well bite another airhead now and just end it all.
There's such a thing as pre-self-loathing. You're fine with who you are right now, but you know who you're going to be. And you fucking hate that dude.
I'm okay with who I am right now, but it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not seeing much of Jim Carrey's portrayal of Biden. I thought a lot of people liked it, but maybe not.
Don't. It's bad. No.
I think people were just hyped up at the moment of it happening. And I don't know. It's not a good impression. But.
Well, it's especially harsh.
Whenever he was vice president.
One of the older cast members did Biden once or twice.
Okay.
What's his name? Can't remember his name.
I'm terrible.
But anyway, you know who is an excellent politician parody person on SNL and makes Jim Carrey's Biden even worse is the Kamala Harris. Who is that? Maya Rudolph came back to do Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
She fucking slays Kamala Harris. She is so funny.
I didn't see that. I would love to, because that does make a lot of sense.
After the election week, in that episode, they had Kamala and Joe doing post-election speeches and that sort of stuff. She is so funny. She kills it.
Yeah.
I hope she continues to do Kamala Harris because
I enjoyed the lady that portrayed Hillary, and I like Kristen Wiig a lot. I can't think of what's the girl's name that did Hillary.
I don't follow SNL, so
was that Tina Fey that did Hillary Clinton? No,
no, she did Sarah Palin.
No, what's
Amy Poehler?
No.
I can picture her face.
Yeah.
Kate McKinnon.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I think she's fantastic. She was fantastic too.
Yeah.
She did. Did you see the? I think it's called Kelly Wise, the skit where she was like Pennywise the clown, but she was supposed to be like Kellyanne Conway, and she was like hiding in a sewer trying to get what's Cooper Anderson? Is that the guy's name?
Anderson Cooper.
They're both first names. I don't know. That was a really good skit because she like did multiple characters in that, and she did like nailed all of them perfectly. She's very, very talented.
Yeah, she's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, people are pointing out Larry David as Bernie.
Oh, he was awesome.
And then they figured out they were actually they were related. They're like cousins or something. They're like cousins.
Okay.
They figured that out after the fact. I don't know.
He did a great Bernie Sanders. He kind of just is Bernie Sanders. But funnier. But
the name sounds so familiar, but I gotta look him up.
Okay, now that we're talking about political memes, did you guys see? Have you seen the Bernie meme of I am once again asking you to donate to my campaign or whatever?
Meme so much.
Did you see he did that on the floor of Congress?
Did he?
I forget what it was. Some issue, and he had like a big sign. It was some issue that was like publicized, and he on the floor he was like, I am once again asking you to listen to me, and he was tied to, he just like used that. He totally said the meme, and I don't know if he was memeing on purpose or if he just says that a lot, but it was really great.
I mean, in the situation, yeah, I'm sure it made sense, but God, I hope so. I hope I hope he's getting into memes, because that meme is so versatile. Like, it has legs. And God, I hope so. Usually shit like that is cringe, but oh my God, I hope so. That would be amazing.
I think memeing Bernie would be the only way that Bernie could possibly get cooler and more hilarious as a politician.
Do you think Bernie will play Among Us with people like AOC did?
Bernie and Among Us.
God, his character to not vote for red.
It's like proximity Among Us, and just Bernie's character in the corner. He's like,
how do I do the trash? How do I get to where the trash? I got the files downloaded. Where do I put them in?
Like, Bernie, you gotta go. Follow me.
Like, how do I move?
Like, did you switch it to WASD controls? What's that? Oh my God. I would love to watch Bernie stream games.
It would be so funny. I think AOC said something like, he'd be too much of an angry grandpa to do that. I think I remember like tweeting that out.
I admittedly didn't watch much of the stream whenever she was doing it, but
didn't
I
watch
was
it either.
curious
Yeah.
how that went. But yeah, there's certain people who just love to watch fucking play Among Us.
God, if I could pick like people that put in Big Brother
Who would
style
you-
like into these rounds, like oh man, Bernie would be up there. God. Bernie, Jeff Bezos. Let's put Bill Gates in there. I want Elon Musk in there just to see how he would use his big brain to solve all these things.
His enormous smart person brain.
His so wrinkled, his brain, incredibly wrinkled. And God.
His brain's in your car, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's on all of ours.
I am a
Take
little
little slice of
surprised
brain.
they didn't make the voice for the Tesla Google Assistant Elon. Like, I would kind of hate that, but also that'd be kind of right.
Yeah.
God. I can't even imagine what his voice is in my head right now. The only time I think I've ever heard him actually speak was his cameo in Iron Man 2.
Which I still don't. My brain has shut that out. He is not in that movie, according to my brain.
That's right.
That's
came out
just such
before
a
and you didn't believe that
cinematic
he was in
classic.
it, right?
You refuse to acknowledge that Elon Musk was a part of it.
I'm acknowledging that you're saying it. It's just my brain's reality is very different. Like it's completely off.
I mean, Elon Musk. Sorry, I said it wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no one corrected me for so long, and I feel so. That's one of those embarrassisms. Another Bushism, embarrassisms.
Fair.
One of them embarrassisms from my past.
You're just gonna morph
One of
into
the
George
deepest
W.
embarrassisms of my life.
I've never
My
been
fellow
so
Americans.
embarrassed.
I've been very embarrassed today.
Lockbox.
Yeah, Elon was in Iron Man 2. There's a scene right before they go down to the racetrack where
Now I've got
Tony and
George
Elon have a
George
conversation.
W. Bush in Iron Man 2. That's who's there in my mind right now. I appreciate what he did with the.
we're gonna find Thanos, and when we do,
I want to see George W. Bush in Elon's position in real life.
we're gonna build
Like,
us an Iron
on a-
Man suit.
On a SpaceX podium, just like, we're going to Mars.
We're gonna
know what I mean?
capitalize on our investment.
That's the same. You gotta come up with new forms. You can't embarrassism, capitalize. You could do better than that. Come on,
man.
George.
Yeah.
I really can't. Here goes my self-confidence. Thanks, guys.
Come on, man.
I thought it
I was
was
just
Don't
starting
try
to feel the
things.
flow.
Get it right the first time.
Just starting to feel the flow, and you dammed up my river.
Oh god. Okay. What were we talking about before this? The hell were we talking about?
The
I
SNL,
somehow got us onto SNL political parody
Oh,
people.
God.
We were talking about Jim
God,
Carrey.
it's there.
I don't remember.
There was a 3-thread that we were talking about before. There was
I mean,
music
we were
and then there was
generally
something
talking
else.
about Adam Savage quote that Wade had brought up and
It
like
was
doing
way
stuff.
before. I'm talking like it was between music and political memes. What? It was a moment. It was a tiny nugget. Confidence stuff. Creativity. Creativity.
I don't know what that is.
Creativity. Right. Okay. Conclusive.
Gone.
Conclusive.
Gone again.
Got it.
Damned up.
Okay. That's right. All right. Perfect.
Anyway, being creative is hard.
Yes, it is. But like most things, with practice. Actually, maybe creativity isn't the thing that you can practice because I'm a firm believer that creativity is purely unconscious. Like your subconscious is always shooting out signals, and they come out, and they'll just inspire you, and you won't even know why it came up, but it happened. And I think that creativity is in all of us, and ideas are in all of us. It's just about finding what works and what's quote unquote good, or what you think is good according to your tastes.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a strong combination of learning how to be receptive to your own thoughts. Like, at least the way that I approach it when I attempt to, creativity is about not shutting things down, not judging anything, seeing whatever you think of, whatever you connect, being receptive to that, and then trying to figure out how you can use that inspiration to make whatever you're trying to make or to improve whatever you're trying to work on. And like people, you know, like you're saying, Wade, it's really easy, and it's something I do a lot too. It's really easy to shut down, to hear yourself have an idea, make a connection, and immediately just be like, oh, that's stupid. Like that's the thing that we practiced in improv too. Like that's the entire thing about improv is you don't judge anything.
Yeah.
Accept whatever you're thinking, be open to it, be receptive to it, and then use it.
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's a hard skill. But I feel like the other side of creativity, which is, you kind of talked about this, Wade, as well, is the technical thing of you then have to master your techniques, whatever your craft is. You have to be good enough to at least attempt whatever you're thinking of. Like there's a lot of stuff that I love. Like I've been getting really into woodworking lately, by which I mean purely I've been watching a lot of videos where other people are doing woodworking and thinking to myself like, ooh, that's really cool. I wonder like that might combine with this other type of like joinery that I saw, or like what if I made a box but I used these you know, this technique that they're doing here with the way they're shaping it, or they're joining the corners or whatever. Like I have all these thoughts. I've literally never screwed two pieces of wood together. And so like I'm so far away technically, even though I can look at this and be very inspired and think like, ooh, I want to make a couch, or I want to make a table, a little side table. I have all these ideas. You need both. You need both the some amount of technical ability to do something with what you're inspired by, but you also need you need to learn that skill of being open and not judging whatever your thought process is, and then, you know, being comfortable. Some ideas are bad, some ideas are good. It's all inspiration that you just need to channel into actually creating whatever you're trying to create. There's those two sides to it, at least that's how I see it.
Yeah,
I think it's overwhelming sometimes when you think about like video production, for example. I remember when I was editing my own stuff and I would have these ideas like, ooh, I would really like to do this. And then not having that knowledge foundation, not being like big brain enough to know like, how do I even begin to tackle this? You know, you'd look up like a YouTube tutorial or something like, oh, okay. But like these ideas I would have were like really grand. I was like, oh, this is probably a good idea. But I never took the time to learn how to do it, because in the moment I was like, well, it's just for this one little thing, so I'm just not going to waste my time on that. I'd rather just get the video out because I got this and this to do. So it's like, I think that's how it started, was I would like find excuses like, I just want to get the video out today so I can have a video today, and I guess I'll just not do that. Whereas if I'd taken the time way back when I first started editing to learn how to improve and become a better editor, I probably would have continued learning. But I kind of always stifled myself with some excuse of like, take too long, or I'm probably not going to be good enough at it anyway. I mean, there'd always be some excuse I would have for not doing it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about me in terms of that kind of stuff, because with editing and YouTube in general, like it was never something that I even questioned at any moment. It was like, oh, I have to do this. I have to edit this. I got to make this. It's like, it was always one of those things where I was like, I have to. There was no other option. I mean, physically there wasn't, because I didn't have an editor, but there also wasn't any other option in my brain being like, well, I gotta, so here I go. And with a lot of things, I think that's just like how I approach learning things, because everyone's been in a situation where who's not an artist, who looks at a piece of paper, you can imagine what you would like to draw, and you try, and it's a stick figure, and it's horrible, and it's horribly deformed. And that's like what Bob is talking about, the technique. But with me, it's like whenever I make things like and try to learn something, I know I'm terrible at it, or maybe I subconsciously know I'm terrible at it, but it never gets acknowledged. Really, it's never a limiting factor. And it can cause me to like take a lot longer to make things, because I just have to plow on and figure things out. But I feel like it lets me reach a higher level of mastery when I get there. It's just like, it's this weird thing where I feel compulsion to figure it out for myself. And I don't like people telling me how. It's why I really don't like backseat gaming or anything like that, is because it's part of my personality. I don't like people telling me how. I want to figure it out, and that's always how it's been for me. So I think with creative endeavors, it's got to be something like you feel that want and you feel that drive to be good at, and you're like, oh man, I want to get there. Only I see it. Okay, I got to find the path, and the path is winding and weird, but. Yeah, I don't know.
So this is random.
Oh, go ahead.
But I talked about TikTok, and this popped into my head, and I like that this is kind of a recurring bit almost now. So I'm glad you guys liked GeoWizard. Checked out GeoWizard.
Oh yeah, I actually haven't seen many of his videos yet. I gotta go back.
You should definitely check out the straight line crossing videos.
Yep.
On TikTok, there's an account. It's not groundbreaking, and I'm sure that you could find this content elsewhere, but I had just never seen it before. There's an account called Real Foley Sounds, I think. Maybe I should look. It's an account that's owned and operated by this woman who's a professional Foley artist, which, if you don't know, is the art of making sounds for like movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So Real Foley Sound, REEL Foley Sound.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
They have a ton of followers and like a bunch of likes. It's just a bunch of minute-long TikToks of this woman and her coworkers making sounds. You watch a monitor, you watch the action on screen, and then you use whatever water, wood, dirt, items, chains, locks, anything to make the sound that then will be used in the sound design for the movie. It's so funny just to watch this lady, especially the ones where she shows you what sound she's imitating, to watch what ultimately they use to make the sounds. Foley must just be like the most fun job in the entire world.
Yeah.
Because it's entirely just fucking around, and you get a scene and it's like, all right, this guy walks down a gravel road, opens a lock on a jangly chain locked fence, and then slides the fence open, and you're like, all right, how do I make all these sounds? What am I banging together?
I have seen this video because I see the big concrete water tub thing.
Yeah. The water tub is one
I
of her
have
big
scrolled
videos.
across that one. Yeah. As a guy that loves sound, like that, I'm also weird in the editing world because apparently, and I've asked other like editors and stuff like this, I love doing the sound design. That's my favorite part about it. I love it. It's what I love the most because you guys heard me spiel about music, but sound design I love. And if I had I was about to say if I had money to do it, and I'm like, I do. If I had the time.
Okay, so you're going to do this because you can.
I would build
some money, buy time.
I would build an incredible Foley studio. It's just stuff like that. Because like I had an experimentation with music and stuff and like performative music, and I realized like I didn't really like that. Like I did on tour, like I did singing, and it's like it was a nice challenge and it was good to try, but I also found I didn't like it. What I do like is scoring and sound design. So maybe I should pick up music again, but try to make, soundtracks and sound effects and stuff like that, and maybe that would be more enjoyable for me because I inherently do like sound. I don't like listening to pop music or any type of genre of music, but I do enjoy listening to soundtracks and stuff like that, and ambiance and just sounds in general I love. So yeah, maybe if I have time one day, maybe I'll do that.
Time one day, just build a sound studio.
Maybe someday.
I mean, it's not, honestly, you don't need that much for it.
No, you go to Goodwill.
You just need a quiet room and a decent mic and some random shit. Like you could, the stuff that Foley people use to make specific sounds is so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't like one of the Star Wars blasters, or was it either blast or lightsaber, something involved like just like something with a power line or something?
Oh yeah, no, they threw a wrench or something at a power line. It made
that made like the blaster sound effect or something, I think. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Well, it's like I love exploring different sounds, and I love like trying different things and getting it all around. Someone said that they love the crispy perfect sound. It's like I don't really like the crispy perfect sound. I like sound that's gritty and weird and kind of off, and like I like this stuff that it feels almost wrong in a way, but you put it in a situation and you're like, well, somehow it works. I like that kind of stuff. I like making a lot out of a little. It's there's so many things that are totally never going to be appreciated that can go into sound design and stuff like that, but that I love the nuance of it. Yeah. I do not listen to Ed Sheeran. I did a cover of Ed Sheeran. I do not. I've had this recently. It popped up a lot. People were like, "Oh, your favorite musician's Ed Sheeran." It's like, What the fuck? No.
Yeah, no,
It's
guys,
fine,
Mark
but-
fucking loves
I
Ed
know,
Sheeran.
yeah, man,
when we
let me
were on
tell you.
tour, he played a couple Ed Sheeran songs for his acoustic set.
Yeah.
But when we were off stage, it was just full blast on his AirPod Maxes backstage. Ed Sheeran just everywhere. He would walk around just like, when your legs don't work like they used to before. Constantly.
Singing out loud, even though friends are practicing. Yeah, I remember.
He just walk around like, wait in his boxers. Why don't you close the door when you're changing? Just sing what's happening. All to
it's
the
right.
themes of Ed Sheeran.
I can't deny it. You guys are right.
So what
We were
happened?
all working
That's the
really
truth.
hard on our craft, but yeah, Mark was just
Yeah.
listening to Ed Sheeran walking around.
Laziest man on the tour.
It's just,
Our craft.
It was just Bob
Our
and Wade in a room. Zip, zap, zap, zip, zap, zap, zip, zap, zap, zip, zap. Hey, big boot. Oh, yeah, big boot. Just the two of us.
Just to see how fast you could do it. not what we're doing or saying at all, just like how fast. Like, all right, see 3 lines. Like, hey, I want some ice cream. Oh, you want some vanilla ice cream? No, I want chocolate ice cream. Like, next scene. Like, as fast as possible. Get out on stage and just scream improv at the audience. Yeah, that's why the tour was so good. Not
Yeah.
because of Mark's hard work, because Wade and I really sped up our improv.
Yeah.
Just full speed ahead. We put that in like fucking Mach 2.
I will
Yeah.
say,
I remember
We had over
was a
300
moment-
IPM there for a minute.
there's a moment where we bonded over the Ed Sheeran song, and I mean this sincerely. There was a moment we were backstage and we were singing that song, but we were doing it in a way, it was about pants.
oh, yeah.
And
You
I
told me about this
still-
ever.
I still find myself humming our version all the time where I'm like, no pants, I've got no pants. Where are my pants? And then like we'd have like I don't know, we like all went in on it and we were like singing it together. It started off like each one of us would like sing like a line and then
Yeah.
we'd like come together for the chorus about the pants. And I find myself, I don't remember all of it, but I find myself just like, no pants, I've got no pants. And for no reason. But like that was a really special stupid moment that like I'm just like, yeah, that were the times.
You guys ever pull up that AWOL Nation song and just play it and close your eyes and just remember the sensation?
No, I haven't actually. I didn't remember the name of the. I didn't know it was AWOL.
Oh,
Yeah, the
right.
intro song.
I'd have to start with the song that came before. What was the song that came before it?
It was like a live recording of "We Could Be Heroes."
Yeah.
It had the
that's what it
fake
was.
ending, and then the drum fill,
Yeah.
and then just the jam out on the
We
chorus.
heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of the counterpoint to refining your creativity is that sometimes it doesn't matter what you choose because I didn't choose. Who chose the music for like the
That
tour?
specific that
No idea.
AWOL Nation song when we were in Tulsa, we filmed the animation, the end of it in the
Yeah, yeah.
parking lot, and you were sort of talking about it, and Swanee was like, "Hey, do you have like a song for that, like an intro song or whatever?" And you were like, "Nah, I don't know, I'll pick one for the animation." And he was like, "I got this song. It's an AWOL Nation song," and he like put it on the
Hollow
speakers
Moon, actually.
Yeah, he put it on the speakers in the theater where we were rehearsing, and we all just sort of stood around the stage and listened to it. And if I read the room correctly, I remember it finished, and we were all kind of like, "I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's our song." But Swanee
I
was
thought
like,
it was
"Nah,
before
this
the.
is the
I thought it was before
one."
the theater. I thought we listened to it when we were practicing in LA.
I have no idea, man.
I just have maybe
I
I'm wrong.
think
but
no.
really
I think
strong
it was
memory
theater.
of it.
I think
By
it
then?
was. I think it was in that practice theater that we had there.
But it was connected to because we filmed the end of the animation in Tulsa, right? In the
Yes.
parking lot of the casino.
That's true. Yeah,
Yes,
we
we
did.
did.
And that was so Mark was editing that together for the show. And so I think that was when Mark added the music.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Gotcha. That might be. It's hard to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might have
But
been.
yeah,
And it's-
that was Swanee's song. He had that and he just like recommended it.
And it's just one of those things where at the time, you're not sure, but it becomes the right thing in time
Yeah.
because you just it associates with it and it sounds perfect afterward, and you're like, it would be terrible if it was different. If it was anything
Yeah.
else, it would not be the same. And yet, if somehow there was a different song there, like, I guess that would be it. I guess.
I hear the ending of We Could Be Heroes, and like I get like the goosebumps, and, like I want to like jump up and down, like all right, here we go, and then that song kicks on, and it's like, what was it, Bob? Was it always you and Ethan? Was it Ethan?
Yeah,
that was on the table?
when it
always,
got to when it got to the bridge, or maybe it was when it got to a
Little bad
section,
boy, little
Ethan and
bad
I would
boy.
lock eyes and go, "Ooh, I'm a little bad boy, little bad boy,
Yeah,
little
that's
bad
right.
boy."
Because we were us three were on the same side. I think Mark and Tyler came out on
we
the
were on
same
the other
side.
side.
So it was always, I would always watch you and Ethan do like the little bad boy, and like every show we did like what 50 or 60 shows. Every show, the amount of like animation you and Ethan had generally escalated to like, or it started off just like kind of humming it, and then like by the end you'd be like leaning in like little bad boy, and then, like sit back little bad boy. It just got more and more animated, more into it.
It's the hype song. All right, well I have to play it now. What'd you say? It's called Hollow Moon, right?
Hollow
Mark?
Moon, a Bad Wolf,
By
or something
AWOL
like
Nation?
that. Yeah.
Are we allowed to play it? Well, we're.
I am.
I was gonna say I'm not allowed to play it.
Hollow Moon, AWOL Nation, Air.
Yeah, for those who don't know what we're talking about, we went on a tour about 2 years ago now. 3?
We did
2?
How many? We did 3. We did 5 tours, didn't we?
5 different. 3
test
Practice,
leg,
East, West,
East Coast,
Europe,
West Coast, Europe, Australia.
Australia. Mhm.
The test leg was 2 shows.
It was 4.
3 shows?
4.
4?
4.
Oh my
Australia
god, it was.
6. Well, it was New Zealand.
2
and
in
Australia.
Texas, and then
practice.
Louisville, and then Akron.
A double in
We did-
Akron. We did
We
5
did
shows
Dallas,
technically.
Houston.
Oh, and Detroit.
Oh, we did Detroit.
We did 2 shows in Detroit and 2 shows in Indy.
Right, Indy. Okay, right.
Yeah, because Indy's the one that my family came to. I think I think a lot of our friends and family came to the Indy one.
I was just it was really cool. And at the end of it, you know, we could definitely say we got a lot better at improv than in the beginning of it.
Yeah, like I think confidence was a big part of it too, because we actually like our training was more fresh in our mind for the practice one, but our show was not, because we were still figuring out what the hell the show was. And the show, even though we only did 5 tours, it was technically the same show throughout. It actually evolved a lot from the practice one. We changed a lot of stuff along the way.
Oh yeah, definitely. The Australia leg was the strongest.
It was.
bit.
I thought it was really funny. We got to Australia and we didn't really do any rehearsal or anything before that because we had done it so much. And we got there and like Mark had thought about it, and the rest of us just assumed it'd be the same. And Mark was like, "No, fuck all that. No." And we were like, "All right." And we just did a bunch of completely different shit in Australia.
I mean, that is me to a T. Just like, I didn't like these things about it. Let's change it for some reason. I don't know, but I will say, like, we got really good at it afterwards. And I'll say with the confidence thing, like, it's funny how confidence escalates linearly with skill. We were, I will say this, not very good at improv in the beginning.
Our 5 days of training more than honestly, with the little time she had, Rachel did a great job.
I made Rachel laugh one whole
did.
time.
You're the
Come
only person
on.
who did, I'm pretty sure.
We killed it. She laughed once during that entire week, and it wasn't awkward at all.
She was so much scarier than any live audience to perform in front of, because we like every time she came in, everything she was like, "Well, you could have done this," and we're like, "That's funny. Why aren't we funny?"
Amazing how it works.
Because we tried different skits, and we were always like, "Oh god, she didn't laugh." And then Bob, you made her laugh like one time, and we're like,
I made her
"You're a
laugh
god."
by failing so spectacularly that she thought it was hilarious that was what had happened. Because if I remember right, the interaction that made her laugh was we were doing scene in 3 lines, but we were doing it in like a rotating fashion, so it was supposed to be kind of rapid fire, and I was on the receiving side, so I was not supposed to talk first. And when it was like, "Go, all right, go," and then it was like my turn, and I hopped up and I was like, "Hey, how you doing, Jeff? It's not my turn to talk, you talk now," or some dumb shit. And she was just so shocked at what I had come out with that she just laughed.
Oh my god, I
And
can
it was
picture
funny,
it.
but not on purpose.
I remember that exact moment.
I do too, actually. Now
Hey,
that
how you
mention
doing?
it,
Nah, it's not my turn. You talking?
Yeah. I don't know if that counts as making her laugh. I think she just laughed at me because I was such an
my
unbelievable
God.
fuck up.
Jesus Christ, I remember that. I think it was Tyler was up against you, and he just broke completely. God.
Yeah, well,
Tyler's saying he thinks it was a no but. Oh no, he was wrong. He's popped up in the chat and was talking about it. We did have a no but that was really funny. I don't know if Rachel laughed, but I remember we did a scene. I don't know who no butted, but one of us
I used
no
to do
butted
that
so hard.
swiftly.
Yeah.
I mean, I still do, but early in those early days, especially, I used to just because that's like my kind of humor in person.
Yeah.
Is to just be like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work in that context.
The thing that was funny whenever you would mess up like that, Bob, is like just like what you did with the it's your turn to talk. Now I'm gonna shut up. Like the way you like recover just by like continuing to ramble in a really I don't know. It's so fucking funny when you do something and then like you go off on your like your somewhat uncomfortable ramble. It seems like you're kind of uncomfortable during it, but
it's a very self-aware sort of disappointment in myself.
Yeah, but it's so your reaction to it is so goddamn funny. Like every time that happens, I laugh. It doesn't matter what it is. Like it could be something completely detrimental to what we're doing, but whenever you like, move, I shouldn't have talked. Oh yeah, you talk now. Like every time you do that, it fucking breaks me every time.
It's a skill. You have to learn how to fail correctly.
I don't have the confidence or the talent.
Failing
to do
with
that.
success. That's what he does every time. It's beautiful.
I feel like that's what I've learned about myself today.
Yeah.
A lot of my success is actually just learning how to embrace my failures and not giving up until I force everyone to acknowledge some level of success out of disaster.
Your biggest successes are the ones that always broke the camera or no one ever was able to see. Like your tantrum with like my shoes are off, my feet are on
Those
fire,
were
my
actual
loins are
anger. Those weren't successful comedy. Those were sincere emotion.
But it was really funny.
Yeah, well, they're funny because they're shocking because of who I am, but that doesn't count as making good comedy. That's just me feeling how I felt and expressing it loudly.
But
so
that's
loudly
good.
that it reverberated
means,
through comedy space-time.
It means that your truth is great. What's in here? What's in your core is what really matters. And that's beautiful. Not many people discover that about themselves.
Not many people have value in their core. Most people are empty garbage.
That is also true.
I'm right here. Just call me out.
No.
So do most people. It's not just you.
No.
Thanks, man.
I'm including everyone here. I'm inclusive.
What percentage of chat would you say is empty?
Solid
hushed?
80 to 90%.
I was going to say
then
that.
watching us, so
Yeah.
doesn't bode well for him. It doesn't bode well at all. I'm nostalgic for Tor. Those were awful in some ways, but great in so many more ways.
That's the beauty of trying things that you're not sure about. That's the beauty of it. Yeah, like the perseverance through it. It makes it special. It makes it good, and it makes it fun to remember. Like I look back on times like that, and those are what's really meaningful. That's why I always try to do things that are inherently uncomfortable. Because
some of the fucking moments people never got to see, like there were a couple skits that we didn't do on stage. I wish people got to see, like Butterman, and I'm not gonna go into the details, but Cracker Barrel still makes me laugh really hard.
That's not right.
what about what?
But the moment with the fucking bus, the day that the bus broke down, and which was the same night that we got pulled over, and our fucking bus driver pretended he didn't speak English, that we got interrogated.
I was
Mark never got
I was
woken up.
not awake for any of it.
Was so surreal.
It was
that
such a
whole
crazy night.
It was like a weird movie that we were
Yeah.
in. That was the whole
Yeah.
and Mark slept through the whole
Yeah, fucking dude's like, our bus driver just like, I don't know what you're saying, and
the
guy's
police
like,
came on and were like, everybody wake up, wake everyone up, come out here. And nobody peeked in on Mark, and Mark didn't hear a thing and just slept for, well, it must have been like 45 minutes when we had police on the bus and we were all milling
slept
around.
like a baby.
Why aren't there seatbelts on this bus? And we're like, we don't fucking know, dude. We just rented it. We didn't build the thing. Why aren't there seatbelts? Ask him, and he'd just be like, oh, no English.
I hadn't. At the time, I was completely, like, everyone was obviously unaware that you weren't out there, I guess. We were all half asleep and no one thought to come get you.
Yeah.
Just imagine if, like, that was happening and then, like, you noticed and you just come hopping out of the bunk just like, hey, what the fuck's going on back here? Because Mark's really angry on tour.
Yeah.
Listen to his fucking Ed Sheeran
and, like,
while
the policeman, like, shoots you or tases you. I don't even know if police have guns outside of America. Anyway, that could
Shout
have
out
been
to Evan, though. Evan was such a lifesaver during all of our shows.
Oh, Evan's the best.
Evan's
still a lifesaver.
Yeah, still to this day.
Evan does all the things.
Evan's incredible.
I miss Evan. He hasn't gotten to save my life in a while. I miss that.
Except when he lies to me about when this stream is starting later than it was going to, and then it's not, and then I'm an asshole because of Evan's incompetence.
Well, Evan really took a turn here. I mean, what the hell?
It's just
That's from the
one
police
incident,
in,
okay?
in Sweden or Norway, wherever we were for that one. But
I'm pretty sure he bribed the police officer to go away or something. Like, I have no idea what happened, but the resolution to that is still the most random shit. Well, because like we were there and the guy was like, the like Swedish police officer was like, well, why aren't there any seatbelts on here? Whoa. And we were like, whoa, dude, calm down. We speak English. And he was, and like he was just like, we were in trouble. Like we were apparently breaking the law, or the bus was, or something. I don't know. And then at some point he stepped outside, and I swear to God, Evan stepped outside, or maybe it was Carla or someone with the tour. They stepped outside. Our people came back inside. The police just walked away and let us go, and nothing else happened. And I don't know what happened.
Leaving, like we were trying to leave, I believe, whenever that happened too.
Yeah.
So I like to think it was just logic and cooler heads prevailed.
No, I'm pretty
Maybe
sure
it was
Evan bribed
ring.
them. I'm 100% sure.
I don't want to say anything
got
on
out
stream.
a huge sack of gold coins and offered the police a few shekels to stop bothering us.
Some schmeckles.
I don't know though.
It's
He
fascinating to
rolled
me
up
though.
some drugs and some cash and was just like, "Please let us go."
For those who don't know, Germany. It was Germany, right?
don't
It was
think so. It was
Scandinavian
the-
country? Was
Yeah,
it
it was
on the way from
Scandinavia.
Oslo to Denmark?
It was some
or something
country
like
up
that?
there. You cannot have buses or high capacity vehicles or any vehicles that doesn't have a seatbelt. So there can't be
For
people
every passenger.
for every
that's on
passenger.
there.
And they
so
must
there were
be
like 11
using
of
it.
us on this bus, and so we needed that many seatbelts. Yeah.
Yeah, but tours happen in Europe all the time, and no tour bus has that kind of setup. It's sleeper buses for sleeping. So people just risk it every year. Hundreds of people must just drive their buses through these countries that the laws are there, and there must be some deal, wink wink, that is set up, because otherwise like people wouldn't be doing it. Because if there was actually a problem where it was going to be a fine or something, like there would be something else. But there's got to be like some code that Evan knew.
Evan knows things. No matter what it is, Evan knows it.
Yeah.
I've had a variety of problems on tour and in real life about other stuff when we're like together hanging out, making videos or whatever. I have come to Evan with such a wide range of issues, and I can only imagine you have too, Mark, and just been like, Evan, do you know anything about this? Like, can you fix this? I think I'm in trouble here. I think I have an issue. And even if he has no clue, he'll just be like, I got you. And in like 40 minutes, he sends you a message back or comes and finds you and is like, hey, I totally resolved that thing. Here you go. And you're just like, well, okay, sick. I don't know what you did, but that's awesome.
I don't know. I don't want to know.
Some kind of wizard. I have no idea.
Nah, he's great. Love Evan.
But that was the same night. Shortly thereafter, the other tour bus also broke down. I think we were entering Sweden because the other tour bus, I think, broke down. And wasn't that also the same night that the bridge was frozen? And we almost didn't make
so
the
we
show?
were crossing
all of that happened in one
we
night.
were crossing the peninsula, the Norway-Sweden peninsula, to Denmark. There's like a bridge that you can drive across that connects them. So yeah, the in the middle of the night after the police incident, the other tour bus, which had like the crew on it, was another bus full of basically the same number of people. So to suffice to say, more people than were supposed to be able to go on our bus broke down completely, and they're like freezing their ass off in the middle of Scandinavia in the winter. It's cold as shit outside. So the other bus, every single human from that bus came onto our bus, and it was literally like a high school sleepover in the back of our bus. And I felt terrible because like the crew worked way harder than us in almost every way you can imagine. The crew for the show got into the venue before we did to set everything up, and we just, I don't know about Mark worked pretty hard too, but like for me, my experience on the tour was I would casually stroll into the venue whenever I woke up, which was never very early. Stuff was set up, Food was set up. My dressing room was labeled and set up, and there was water, bottles of water, and all the tech stuff on the stage. People were running around and communicating and setting. And we would just wander in, and they would be like, "All right, sound check is at like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. The show, shows at 4:30, whatever." And we would just show up. We'd show up to places, and they would strap microphones on us. We'd show up to other places, and our wardrobe would be there. The crew worked so hard. And this happened in the middle of the night, and they were all exhausted. It was a long day, long shows, and they're like, oh, fuck. Like, some of them were sleeping on the floor. Some of them were piled on each other on couches in the back of the bus. And I was like, look, I got a whole bed. I've already slept a few hours. Like, you guys need it. And they're like, no, you're the talent. You have to perform. And I was like, come on, guys. Like, I know we all know what each other does. Like, you know what I do, and I know what you do. We all know who needs more sleep. And they're like, no. A crew member could never take the bed of the royalty of the show. And like, they would not, no one would take my bed. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go sleep in my own bed where it's warm with a pillow and blankets. Have fun sleeping on the floor for 6 hours before you have to wake up at 7 a.m. and set my shit up for me, crew people. That was a bad night.
We also
it was not that bad for me.
It was shit in it.
It was bad for the crew. They suffered a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't us. Yeah. We also had a bunk that we couldn't like give up because of all of our shit in it. We
it was just backpacks. There was a pile of backpacks sleeping in a bed while humans were piled on the floor.
Can you imagine what would have happened if that bus had broken down before we got pulled over, and then everyone had been on the bus and we got
the cop gets on the bus and there's like 20 people in one bus. Like, what's going on here?
That happened like 2 or 3 hours later. But yeah, if that happened before.
Oh my god.
People just laying on the floor.
And I slept through every moment of this.
Were you at least awake when we hit the bridge?
You didn't wake up when we took on the passengers either, did you?
I didn't wake. I woke up in our destination,
Mark
and
woke
everyone
up in
was
the
like,
morning to a regular bus and was just like, "Oh man, good night's sleep, everybody. What's going on?" And everybody, like the crew, is all half dead, and all of us are like freaked out. And Mark's just like, "What? What happened? We're good."
It's one of those things. I could have.
Don't worry, I'm here. Don't worry.
We could have crashed. Like the bus could have flipped over. I would have been like spun out of the bus, been in a snowbank, asleep, and I would have woken up later.
Mark is sleeping as he sinks to the bottom of the ocean, just drowning in his sleep, just like, wow, what a terrible dream. You need some loud smoke detectors. I'll just say that, Mark. You need
listen to this fucking Ed Sheeran with his soundproof fucking AirPods in his ears.
That's it, yeah. That's it.
With his three-year pre-released AirPod Maxes. Mark has actually been a beta testing AirPod Maxes since Tim Apple died.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Or Tim Apple.
Anyway,
I remember waking up after all of that shit, and we were like, we might not even get to do a show today because the fucking bridge to wherever we were going was frozen over, and we barely.
Dude, that
was within like 30 minutes of having to cancel.
That bridge was very sketchy. Well, because I remember everyone was sitting there, and they're like, "There's a lot more of us on this bus than there's supposed to be. Like, it's gonna be top heavy, right? And it's windy, and it's a narrow, icy bridge.
Oh no!
And like we were driving across, and it was windy. Like it was one of those bridges where it's like a 2-lane bridge." And it felt narrow because we were on an enormous bus, and the wind was like like stereotypical like gusty winds. Everyone was pretty sketched out that we were gonna get like blown over into the ocean or something. Mark just blissfully,
and the wind was all.
You know how wind is. You know how wind laughing
is.
About.
To be fair,
it's exactly how wind is.
Yeah,
this was the same. This was the same tour where you and Ethan were sick like the whole time too.
Oh,
though,
yeah, absolutely. So I had an excuse for being asleep.
Yeah, getting
I think
a good
I was
night's
sick.
sleep at least was probably really good for you after all that shit. Because
it's the same tour too where Wade's nuts hurt inexplicably.
Dude, yeah, I thought I was gonna have to have a testicle cut off that tour.
That was another crisis that happened.
Sad.
Evan had the same shit in Australia that I had in Europe. We both broke the same testicle somehow.
That's a serious
in
nut
the same
distress.
Way. Yeah. That sucked, dude. I didn't know how I was gonna be able to. Oof. Adrenaline was a good thing because the pain was real. That sucked.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, I'd much
Is it
rather deal with what you
fixed?
and Ethan went through because your guys is so trivial compared to my ball pain.
I mean, honestly, we just got sick. I mean, it was pretty bad sick, but I don't want consistent, serious ball trauma. Did you ever figure out what it was?
Yeah, I had a diagram with a picture of a penis, and it showed what tube got infected with something or another. It wasn't a UTI.
Whose penis?
But it was Evan's and mine. We both our penis.
You compared it?
It was an
Overlaid?
It was an LPI. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, cool.
I don't. Yeah, I forget what it was. Evan,
lower penis
Evan just texted me
infection.
Nut
Yeah,
Brothers.
that's it, yeah.
Do you remember what that was called? What was wrong with us? Because it was the same thing. Ball Trauma is my band name.
Ball trauma.
What was Evan? What did we
It
have?
was actually in the middle of the night. Mark would sleepwalk and just go punch random cast members in the nuts as he was asleep. Pretty sure that was what happened.
I can feel like it wasn't. I felt fine. It was just like moving was so painful just from that one spot, and for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what the hell it was. Here we go. Epididymitis is what Evan is saying it was. Epididymitis.
So your epididymis was infected?
I don't even know what the fuck that did.
That would be what that means.
Definitely Google image search that live on stream.
There's a. Well, I'm not showing my. Oh, thank God, I'm not showing my screen because there's just a dick. would've been my-
Epididymitis
guess,
is
yeah.
an inflammation of the epididymis.
My sperm tube was swollen and clogged.
It can cause pain and
No.
swelling in the. Well,
The more you know.
I had a natural condom in that infection.
that's what doctors call it, man.
Ah, yes.
you're suffering from natural condom
You go into the free clinic like, oh help me, God, it hurts. I think I've got epididymitis. Yeah, nature's condom.
Nature's way of saying you shouldn't reproduce, and we agree. But here, have some pills. That
God.
was the doctor's office though was so great. I loved everything about how the doctors were over there. I'm not being facetious or anything. It was
Oh,
just
okay. Well, we
really
were in the UK,
amazing.
right? So you got to go to an NHS office, I guess.
I walked in, they asked me my name, and I was like, yeah, I'll fill out the paperwork. And they're like, paperwork? I was like, what? And they're like, we just need your name so they know who to call back. I waited like 20 minutes. They called me back, and dude was like, you have to see a specialist, but I'm just gonna go talk to the specialist. I'll be right back. And then he like went and talked to the specialist, came back, wrote me a prescription, and it was just like, all right, see ya. I was like, but don't I got money. He's like, money? We don't take, what is money? Oh, what?
Imagine living in a country where they think healthcare is a right. Wow.
I spent like 10 or 20 bucks from the doctor and on medicine. That was like a $20 prescription to fix it up or whatever. And that was it. No paperwork, no crazy fucking insurance
in America?
hassles. It was literally just bought my medicine, cured my balls. It was a great day.
In America, you would have been forced to take an ambulance ride because the hospital you went to would not have been allowed to see you. The ambulance ride would have cost you $30,000. It would have been $5,000 to see a general medicine practitioner, then another $5,000 to see a specialist. The prescription would be $20,000, but fortunately, they would give you a $19,000 discount. So you'd only have to pay $1,000 out of pocket to get the prescription, and you'd be paying your medical bills for the next 3 years of your life if you're lucky. Probably more like a decade, because medical bills are not fucking around in the US and they follow you forever.
People are asking what kind of paperwork you have to have for like a simple infection. Anytime you go to a doctor's office, you have to give them a full medical history, all of your allergies. You got to give them like your grandparents' name, your anyone that might have to pay in case you die. You got to give them all those names, all that info. Like you have to fill out so much shit.
God forbid you're in a location where your insurance doesn't cover either.
Oh,
If like
God.
I have insurance that's mostly California coverage. So like most places in California, I could totally find a doctor. If I was like visiting family in Ohio and I got very ill, I am absolutely fucked.
It's insane. Like I
I'm
didn't know
not
how I
gonna-
felt about healthcare because like growing up we don't know shit about fucking healthcare. But like I realized how bad insurance and all that shit is whenever I saw how good it was there, how simple and easy and streamlined it was, and how like I was like, man, I don't care what they pay in taxes. This is so worth it because health insurance. Now maybe if employers help with health insurance, it's like pretty cheap. I don't know, but being self-employed or being your own business and covering health insurance, it's so expensive per month. It's so expensive. It can't possibly be that much in taxes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where if you grow up with it, you don't know anything different, and then you see something else, and you're like, it can happen that way. Oh, well, that seems better. And then it's just, it's just kind of, what
That is
can you
the
do?
most pure reaction I've ever heard, and it could not be more accurate.
It just is one of those
Seems
things.
better.
This is one of those, seems better. Seems better, don't it? Seems better. Whatever.
But the free market,
Delicious.
Someone
the
said that I
market
made their-
won't let you die of an illness just because you can't afford to buy something. Oh wait, I'm being told the market doesn't care if you can't afford to buy something. Never mind, you're probably going to die of an illness because you can't afford to buy something. Sorry.
On top of
Capitalism,
that,
though,
for
am I
you,
right?
For those of you that aren't in America, in order to sign up for health insurance, you have like a 1-month window in November to sign up, and if you don't get it in that time span, you're just, I don't know what the fuck, you're actually just not covered.
Well, I mean, there is other options. It's not just November, but
You can get Cobra. That's totally not a scam.
I didn't even know that existed. See, we don't know. And I don't even know. I tried calling some of like the big, I don't want to go too far into this, but I remember trying to get health insurance the past 2 years. I tried calling some like the big name healthcare places I know of, and they keep sending me to like these third party things that no one even takes anyway. They're like, oh yeah, you want health insurance? We got you here. This is Uncle Bill's health insurance, covered everywhere. And I go in, I'm like, here's my Uncle Bill's card, and they're like, dude, we don't take Uncle Bill.
that is the most fascinating thing about insurance, because the fact that you can get it and you're in America, right? You're in America, all of America, the United States. You get insurance where you are, and it just doesn't work in other places in America, in your own city. There's places that it just doesn't work, and you go like, well, what would I need to do? I actually am kind of curious. What would it take? How much would it cost to get covered anywhere through insurance? How much would that actually cost? Because
I don't know if from a single source or company, I don't know if that's actually possible. You would have probably carry different policies or something. I can't imagine, because I've never even looked into it, because it's too expensive for me, I assume.
I think that's the only way. You just have to have multiple different coverages, or just never get sick there. Come back home.
Just stay sick in your home place and don't get sick anywhere. You choose when you get sick, right? It's not like an emergent thing. It's like a
better
casual.
not get sick out in the wilds of the next neighborhood. Yeah, of course you're gonna pay. Yeah, they gotta take you to that hospital. It's a weird, strange hospital. They don't understand your insurance's language there.
This is a really dumb question, but how does it work? Like, with help with like dental insurance, for example, right? No matter what dental insurance you get, generally they're like, okay, we cover X amount of cleanings per year. You can get X amount of filling, whatever, an emergency visit. Like, there's a certain like amount they'll help you with, and then it's like after that, you're all out of pocket. In like places like the UK and Canada and stuff, is it literally just like you have an issue, you go in, and no matter how many times you have to go in a year, you're covered because of the way the system's set up? Or eventually are they like, oh, even
Effectively, you're
taxes,
asking like if there's a deductible, like
is there
there's
eventually a limit of
where
how
you're
many
out of pocket.
places you can, like times you can go into something?
I don't actually know. I haven't heard of that, because I would assume that would mean if you
Always
were
covered.
in the UK and you got like cancer,
Dental's not covered.
that requires extended treatments, repeated visits, long-term care. As far as I know, that's all sort of covered.
Yeah, I'm
right?
seeing
Like
I'm seeing no
you don't
limit
run out.
in chat.
Some
So I'm assuming.
Some people are saying Canada doesn't cover dental specifically. Dental's different in the UK.
Well, and dental is different than medical, at least in the US, which maybe not everywhere. Dental's not
that
necessarily
makes
medical.
sense. Dental will be a little bit different, but I'm just thinking in general, like even doctor's visits, it's like, oh, you got your 2 checkups this year, and now you got to pay out of pocket. Listen, we only cover up to you pay the first $5,000, and then we cover the next $100, and then after that you're on your own. Like, it's so screwy. I honestly, to this day, after signing up for health insurance the last like 4 or 5 years, I still don't fucking know how it works. I don't even know if I have a good plan. I have no clue. Basically, I call, someone on the phone tells me like what I need to get, and they're like, we can't tell you this is what you should get, but wink wink, get this. And we're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go with plan A. Like, oh good, we'll send you the brochure. Just acknowledge that you had an opportunity to read. And it's like, Yeah, I guess I could have hung up the phone and read through your 800,000 page document, but I just need health insurance. I'm not going to call and wait 6 hours to sign up again. Like, oh, good. So you give us your consent. Yes. Good. Move on. So you're going to pay X amount per day. Yeah, per day. Yes. No. Am I? All right. You said yes. Moving on. And that's literally how the phone calls fucking go. I'm always like, so perplexed. By the time I hang up, I'm like, I don't know if I got health insurance, a new car, or nothing. I have no idea what just happened.
Here's an example of how complicated health insurance in America is. I have a company to pay my editors and myself, so I have Markiplier, and like it exists so that also I can get health insurance through it, and I give health insurance to all my employees. I asked my accountant to get the best health insurance possible, the best. I said, like no, like price is no option. Get the best, because I want my employees to have the best.
Can you hire me? Damn.
And we'll talk about that after.
Oh baby, let me go put on a pants for this interview.
That sounds like a hard no. Continue.
Yeah, we'll talk about this later, Wade.
Yeah. Anyway, so I have ADD, right? So I get a prescription for Adderall. I take it daily. Like it helps me focus and do stuff. My doctor writes said prescription, right? So he writes a prescription for 90 days because you need to get it in person every time. So he writes it for 90 so I don't have to come in every month. We've been working for 5 years. He trusts me for this and he's like, cool, you're good. I go to the pharmacy and they say, oh, we filled it for 30. And I go, but why? And they said,
for 90.
It's for not, the doctor said for 90. And they were like, oh, your insurance only covers 30. So we did 30. And I said, why did they get to make that call about what my doctor thinks I should have? So I called up the insurance and I asked him, I was like, hey, my doctor wrote this prescription for 90 days, so you don't cover it. And he's like, oh, we cover it for circumstances where it's essential for a person. And I was like, but it's essential for me. How do we prove that? And he's like, oh, we need a note from your doctor. And I said, my doctor wrote
like
the prescription to give me 90 pills. I'm thinking he thinks I need it.
Dude.
It's like,
I wish I thought you were joking, but I know for a fact this is exactly how it goes down.
This is legit. So I had to get another note from my doctor to my insurance for them to be, okay, fine, all right, we'll give you your 90. And I'm like, why do they get to make that choice? Why do they get to make that choice? And it's just very strange.
I remember working in the medical industry when I worked with eyes, and there were days like the doctor would like take off or not have days, and those were days where like the techs, we had to sit like in this, like we weren't helping patients at all. Our general job was to help patients, get ready to see the doctor, work up patients, whatever. But like we had dedicated like days and hours where our only task, the only thing we had to do was call all these fucking insurance companies and get patients pre-certified so they could get operations or get medicine or, you know, get the treatment they needed. And pre-certs were that was the goddamn worst, and it definitely interfered with patient care because patients were like, oh, I really need to get this done, but I can't afford. Me like, we got to go through your insurance, so we'll have to get the pre-certs done if you want to do it that way. And like, there's no way around it. And it was so horrible because some insurance companies worked a little bit easier than others, so on and so forth. But like, yeah, there were dedicated days where we could not be with patients because we had to have time to just literally spend all of our fucking day dealing with insurance companies trying to get pre-certifications and so on and so forth. It's such a horrible system, and the fact that there's a middleman, the insurance companies at all, is so mind-boggling to me. I get what they originally, like, their intended purpose was, but it's become so fucking convoluted now where everything is so delayed and so horrible. I forgot I had bills from the dentist office where I thought I was done seeing the dentist like in November for 6 months till my next cleaning or whatever. And then just like all of a sudden a week ago, I got a call like, hey, by the way, you owe $3,000. $3,000 for what? And they're like, oh, well, we talked to your insurance company. Remember when you came in back in June? Well, we've been fighting with the insurance, but they won't do anything. So this all falls on you now. And it's like, oh, I forgot I came in. I thought that was covered by now. But it just takes so long for shit to process like that. And then all of a sudden you're just hit with all this stuff at once. And it's like, it's so stressful. Yeah. It's so fucking stressful. Sorry, I don't have to keep on the insurance. I know there's a really random tangent, just something I don't think everyone in the world knows what we deal with here in the U.S. And I don't know what it's like to live anywhere else, obviously, because I've always only been here. But like,
I mean, it's eye-opening for a lot of people who don't live in America, because for people that do have systems in place where, you know, it's a single payer or whatever, it is sometimes shocking to see what goes on in terms of like how healthcare is dealt with in America. I think that everyone can agree it don't exactly work good. Like the amount of GoFundMe campaigns that are about medical bills has made GoFundMe. I think it made GoFundMe the third largest insurer of health in the world, or some crazy. Let me double check, because I don't want to talk.
I remember seeing that like headlined on social media or something like that.
Yeah, but there is an exorbitant amount of people that have GoFundMes that are purely dedicated towards helping with medical bills, and that's just a factor of, in America, medical bills are life-destroying. In many, many circumstances, they will destroy your life. And like Bob said, they chase you. They chase you around.
They do.
It's not a fun topic. It's
Taxes in Denmark are between 35 and 52. I pay 35% tax anyway, and I don't get shit from my government. Not everyone does. Most people who get W-2s don't. As a self-employed person, I can tell you, taxes are a nightmare.
Yeah.
If I could pay that much, if I could pay the amount of taxes I pay right now, and I would not have to pay for health insurance, not only would I save a lot of money, I would take that trade. Because the insurance that I pay out the ass for is not even good. And I know there are examples of single payer systems in the world that don't work well either.
Yeah, exactly.
And that, like, it's not, I don't think the way that the American health system is set up makes sense, because I don't think health is an industry. I don't think health should be run in the same way that a business is. I understand. Agreed. I think that's an important distinction to make. But I'm also not advocating for any specific health system. I'm not an expert. I have no idea which type of single payer system is best. If there's another form that's good, it's inescapable that where America is in terms of healthcare is untenable.
Yeah,
it's not a system that works. Yeah, and I'm not suggesting even how I would change it. I'm not an expert. It's just not working. It's terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
It leaves people not getting health care. It leaves people not taking their prescriptions. It leaves people absolutely broke so they can buy insulin that 50 years ago cost $25 a vial and modernly costs thousands a vial or whatever. Like, whatever is happening is no longer acceptable. It's way beyond, it's an issue we should work on. People's health is suffering, and people's health is not something that can be monetized and, evaluated in the same way that business decisions are.
Yeah,
it's just not the same. It's really messed up.
I think we pay like somewhere between, I have to look, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think we pay like $600 to $800 a month for Molly and I to be insured, and we have an honestly not great health insurance plan. And the only reason we have to have it is not because we spend that much on medical stuff per month, but just in case something goes horribly wrong and we're like having to pay millions of dollars. It's like an emergency, thing, so that we're not left destitute because something bad happens to us or we have a heart attack or something like that. And that's what's so fucky about it, is we overpay for nothing. So that way, in case something goes horribly wrong, then we're covered and they won't let us die or ruin our lives completely financially. Like it's awful. And taxes, like you said, Bob, taxes too. Self-employment. All you literally form a business and all of a sudden that whole self-employment thing goes away. It's like, why is that a thing? I'm sure it has a reason why it exists or existed, but like the fact that you spend, I don't know how much, $500 to form a business, then all of a sudden self-employment tax is just like, bye-bye, is fucky too. The whole tax systems, I don't even understand all that shit. I know I had to form an LLC that files as an S corp or something. Like my accountants were like, oh yeah, you just gotta do this, this, and this. I'm like, do I have to stream differently? Do I have to? No, you just file as an S corp now because you're a business. Oh, of course, that
obviously.
Yeah, I understand that makes sense.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if the insurance system worked the way that people idealize it to, if it worked, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We wouldn't even be talking about it because it wouldn't be a problem because it would just work. It would work the way it should work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like Bob said, we're not experts in anything. Like we are not anything like that. It's one of those things where there's clearly a problem. Doing nothing is not the solution. So something has to be done. And even just acknowledging that something has to be done is a good step in the right direction, as opposed to many of the other roadblocks that get thrown up a lot of the ways. Yeah. Either way, I think everyone can agree that shit ain't good and it shouldn't be destroying people's lives. And I agree with Bob that I don't believe healthcare should be a business.
I agree 100%.
Like I feel like it should. If we care about our fellow citizens and if we care about the people in our country and the people and the well-being of our neighbors, then we should be more open-minded to getting the whole thing of people being alive is that we usually want them to stay alive, and there's a lot of things in life that get in the way of that that usually come in the form of things attacking our general health. And generally speaking, I want to see people being taken care of and not having to choose to not get care because they can't afford it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that's
happens
why
a lot too. We avoid going. Sometimes we're like, we'll probably just be okay if we don't go in.
if I use the word usually, favorite seems like the wrong word, but I'm not sure how else to say this. My favorite response when you have this discussion online and people inevitably weigh in because it's very politicized, which is insane to me. But it's very politicized healthcare in our country. People weigh in and their general tone is, that's not my problem. If you want to live your life that way, I'm not telling you what your ideal should be, but I can't imagine a person who thinks about the concept of someone being sick or needing healthcare, being financially unable to afford it, and there being no system by which they could get the healthcare that they need. And your response is, "Why? What does that have to do with me? I'm healthy." Like, yeah, obviously we don't want anyone to sacrifice their own life completely for someone else's, but small sacrifices, especially financial or political concessions, if you believe very strongly some political position or another, giving in and compromising a political position about how you think the government should work or how you think money should be spent or whatever, so that less humans will die or less humans will go without medicine, or more humans who are downtrodden might get access to help that they need that could improve their life, that could allow them to get a job or improve their situation. I can't imagine being so stubborn or so selfish that you don't see that is a benefit to your country or your city, your whatever, your world. Just crazy to me.
Yeah, that's always blown my mind about people politicizing everything. I want every American to be at their best because I don't like stupid Americans. I don't like it when people get unhealthy either. Like when it comes to education and stuff like that, like why is that a political issue that I want everyone in America to have an opportunity for an incredible education and to be healthy? That's not politics. That's just common decency. That's uplifting your fellow citizens, and that's just being like, I want the best opportunity for everyone. I want everyone to be healthy. I want everyone to not be in crippling debt. You know, it's these kinds of things that it seems illogical to fight against things that could help everyone like just rise a little bit, like just help people. Yeah. Because in the long run, it's better. They've done studies on like the cost of like productivity loss and the cost of like not giving enough people education. If people are only monetarily focused, there are studies that prove that these kinds of policies, if you want to politicize them, like they actually come out and make you more money in the end. It creates more in the end. And if that's the way you want to look at it, fine. Look at it that way. Yeah. But from just a human standpoint, it's so clear. It's so clear. Yeah. Anyway.
This is one of our more serious topics we've covered.
Yeah, I don't know how we got onto healthcare. I guess we were talking about tour and stuff. It just sort of happened. But
Yeah, we went from my balls to a real. My balls really led down a good topic.
When you really do see how different it can be, and there's like I would say, like the NHS. I don't know the NHS very well. There are probably some flaws about the NHS, but from just a perspective of comparing my experiences with health to that, I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome. So there is a way to do it. And, you know, it's just kind of one of those things where it's just like, oh, you can do it. And if America is America, then why wouldn't it go at this problem with the attitude that it usually has of, I can do it better than you. Oh, you think your NHS is so good? Oh, watch what we're going to do. Like, why is that not the attitude that we're having? Of course we want to do it better than everyone else. Why wouldn't that be how we want to do it? It makes sense. You look at all the other people that are benefiting from these systems, whatever flaws they have, and we're like, oh, I bet we can do it with no flaws or minimal flaws or less flaws because we're America. Like, shouldn't that be the attitude that we have about it? Couldn't we? Couldn't we do it better?
At least part of the problem, I think, is that I can't imagine how, but it seems like there's some amount of Americans in general who would look at it and say, oh, we are doing it better. Our system, the form of healthcare that we have is inherently better because it's capitalistic, because it's a free market. The only issue with our healthcare, the reason it's not working correctly, is because liberal regulations are spoiling the free market. If the healthcare market was 100% deregulated, it would take care of itself. It would find the path of least resistance. It would find the maximum benefit for all consumers, and it would be ideal. And like, I mean, in my opinion, I don't believe that. I also believe numbers and facts tend to disprove that when it comes to healthcare. But I honestly think that's part of the problem, is that that there's some portion of our country in general that believes so deeply and maybe blindly in the idea of like free market capitalism that there's nothing it can't fix. There's no situation where free market capitalism is wrong. It's the best way to run anything that involves money. And like, I think that's a fundamentally flawed view on healthcare. And I'm not saying that I'm an expert or for any reason have any authority to say that my opinion is correct, but healthcare is just different than a business. It just is.
It is.
Because if you fuck up a business, you declare bankruptcy, maybe you default on your debts, maybe people lose money. If you fuck up on healthcare, humans die, which is worse to me in like an immeasurable way. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm insane. But it seems like it's objectively different in several meaningful and, you know, important ways. Revolving around death and illness.
Yeah, with capitalistic ideals, and there are a lot of benefits to be had from that. But at the end of the day, it is about making the most money possible. That's kind of what the end goal of most companies and corporations and things like that is. And with healthcare, what you're seeing right now is companies trying to make the most money possible out of healthcare. And what that comes into is my health insurance telling me they're not going to pay for the 90 if they don't have to, but they can be talked into it because they're not morally justified at all. And at the end of the day, a healthcare comes down to morals. It's about caring about people. That's what it is, and making that a business just really distorts the motivation behind caring for people. If you want it to be free market, then you have to understand that the first priority will be money and not care. They will only do the care in the way that most businesses say, we care about our customers. And if you want to turn patients into customers, well, I mean, they are right now. That's what it is. You know, that distorts the benefits that can be taken out of it. And again, this isn't political, not even a little bit.
It shouldn't be. Politicians make it political, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah. It's common
and people, I mean, even we're probably to an extent spewing stuff that we've heard politicians say to some extent for or against these things, which I've not done. I'm gonna freely admit I've not done all the research, so I don't know anything about what the right way to handle this is. All I know is that getting to experience healthcare in a different way was very eye-opening because it just revealed how awful and shit the process is here. And I've worked in the medical industry. Like I said, I used to have to deal with the pre-certifications and stuff like that, and that sucked. Being on the other end, having health insurance partially covered through my employer was nice, but being self-employed or having your own business, like, we have no idea what the fuck we're doing, how to navigate these waters. I have no idea if I've got good insurance, bad insurance any given day. I don't know what it's going to cover, where it's going to cover. It's just such a nightmare to deal with, and it's an unnecessary headache. And like Mark said, these insurance companies are they all, I don't want to say they're all for profit, some of them are, but from what I know, they're all for profit, or most of them at least are. And they've got entire parts of their business that are literally just money that they've made that they're funneling into a team that makes these commercials that are like, we care, that's why you should sign up with United or whoever else. And it's like, that's not the CEO like stepping in there and like just telling you how he's going to change things. That's literally just a marketing department making them look good as they funnel money away from us. And obviously, if they're for profit, they've got to charge people more than what they're spending helping people, which means that we as a collective country are paying more for health insurance than we would be spending just covering the medical expenses, because there's a middleman taking a cut.
Yeah.
And I don't know, people that think that's good or okay, I disagree myself. I think it's awful, but again, I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what the right system is.
Yeah. At the end of the day, what we are proponents of is caring about our fellow man and woman, like our fellow humans in our country and other countries. Like, just generally speaking, I want the best for every American. I literally just want the best for them. That's it. I want them to have the best opportunities. I want them to have the best future. And again, like Wade said, we're not experts. We're not here to give credence to one specific solution or another, because we don't really know. But at the end of the day, being open to the possibility is what's really important, to the idea that it's possible. And I hate that when people are like, oh, it can't be done, it's impossible. It's like, the fuck, you quitter? What are you, a quitter? What the hell is wrong with you? We can't do it.
Quitter.
I'm sorry. In what is proposed to be the most powerful, richest nation in the world, we just can't do it. It's That's so dumb. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. We can't do it. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Whatever.
You know, I was told, I forgot this aspect of it. Whenever I was trying to get health insurance, every time I've tried to get it, one, like I said, they try to put us on like some kind of weird, like, I think they call it like marketplace plan. It's like not even original, like through them, it's through some third party. But also, in order to get health insurance, I have to like triple pinky promise swear that Molly and I aren't trying to have a kid. They really hardcore, like, do you smoke? Do you drink? Are you pregnant? No. Do you plan on becoming pregnant? No. Have you even thought about a child in the last 6 years? Do you think you'll ever want to be like, they really hammer home the whole kid aspect of it, because they do not want to help with that. And that's been the 3 different health insurances we've had over the last like 6 years. Because I was on my mom's health insurance till I was what, like 20. Well, I was the health through my company, but then I think you can be on your parents' insurance till you're like 26 or something. But like, since I've had to worry about it myself, that's really one they super drive home hard, is like anything to do with babies. It's like, no, you shall not fucking pass. So that's another thing that's kind of fucked up, because people that want to like plan families, it's like, how, if I wanted to have a kid, I don't know what the hell we would do. Where do you find health insurance when you're self-employed that's going to help you with that too? But that's been all of the ones I've called. I don't know if you guys had that experience where they've asked you those questions or not.
No, but Mandy has a real job and we use real insurance.
Well, yeah. I don't know, but that's the thing. We have businesses. I don't know how the hell you get a business to like, I don't know how I use my business.
The thing about employers getting better coverage options and more affordable coverage options is the number of employees they have. It's effectively collective bargaining, which gives them leverage, which is what unions do. Which, if there was some sort of union of YouTubers, you could potentially get some collective bargaining. But because an employer, say, for example, I don't know, General Motors, the American car company, General Motors, they employ like thousands of people. They're a huge, enormous company. So they go to insurance companies and they're like, hey, we have all these people and we want to do business with you because your insurance coverage seems all right. But because we're bringing you this business, we have, 8,000 employees and a large percentage of them will get your service. we want a lower rate and we want you to add some extra coverages to it because you know how many people about you're going to get. But if you have a company like yours where you have like 2 employees, ostensibly, you and your editor, you have no more leverage than if you're an individual on the market. No company cares whether you give them your business or not. So you get their public facing options either way.
Yeah.
So the benefit of employer provided health insurance is the same benefit of union negotiated health insurance. Like I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but SAG, Screen Actors Guild, is the union that all the actors that are in like movies and TV and stuff are members of. I believe SAG offers union negotiated insurance options because SAG is a huge union, at least in the US. It's like one of the main, if not the main actors union.
Yeah.
They have collective bargaining leverage against insurance companies. I'm sure they have other services that you can get through SAG that are related to the industry of being an actor or being in, whatever, performer. It's about that is more than it's about being an actual business, which is something that is, I guess, as a small business owner, you completely lose out on, right?
Yeah, man. The fact that there's discount health insurance kind of proves that the system doesn't work. Like, it's, do you want to not die and not pay money, or do you want to not die and pay a lot of money? It's like if like it's why is there an option? Why is there an option to still pay money and then be screwed over afterwards? It's just like something I could talk about for a long time, but.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like we've said our piece on this. I'm sure we could talk in circles, but I don't think we need to beat it into the ground.
No, it's depressing. I
should
see
be
part
better.
of our job as being like entertaining and distracting people, but I think it's important to be real sometimes, to let people know like we're going through a lot of the same struggles and shit that they are, and to share our opinions on things because we've experienced life, and just like everyone else has. And sure, we've got a different career and we've gotten to do some cool shit like go on tour and stuff, but like ultimately, yeah, Molly had an ear infection, and in the middle of a night, like Saturday night, Sunday night, it was so bad we went to the emergency room, and I was told in chat they gave us a bill for like over $2,000 for the doctor to come in and spend 2 minutes to say, yep, mid-ear infection. And this was after she'd gone to an urgent care and been misdiagnosed with like an outer ear infection or something. I don't remember, one of the two. They misdiagnosed her. They gave her like a amoxicillin or something. They're like, all right, you're on your way. It didn't help. It got worse. We went to the ER, and the guy's like, oh, very obviously you need drops because it's this kind of ear infection. And between the two, it was like $3,000 for basically to be told, you have an ear infection, here's some pills, wait, wrong, here's some drops. $3,000 for that. That insurance didn't touch.
Thank God you had insurance, right?
Yeah, thank God insurance didn't do shit for that.
Really saved your ass on that one.
$600, $800 a month for health insurance, and then something like that happens, they're like, emergency room? Oh, were you dying? Because even if you were, fuck you. And I mean, it's awful. It's insane to me. I mean, 2 minutes of my time, 2 minutes of my time worth $2,000. Like, fuck, man.
Okay, so this came up. I've been posting our firefighter videos because I'm way behind and a slacker. And I was looking through the comments. This is only tangentially related, but I think it's related, and this is hopefully funnier. You know how we did that whole bit about firefighting for profit, where we were like, oh well, we can only really, for that price we can only put out half the fire or whatever. We did the whole bit at one of the fires. I knew this, but I had forgotten this fact, and someone brought this up. Do you know firefighting for profit was a thing in like 19th century America? Firefighting companies were for-profit companies. What? So they would like show up to your house burning down and be like, it's like $350. And if you couldn't pay, they would either leave or like they would encourage you to like take a collection from your neighbors to see if you could save the house. Like, it actually was a thing.
Time out. So while your house is burning, you had to go knock on your neighbor's door like, please, sir, can I have a $300 to save my house?
Yeah, well, then the neighbors, in the self-preservation interest of, if your house burns down, maybe mine will, because they're sort of right next to each other and it's the 19th century. So we've got, there's no code regulations preventing our houses from being connected by gasoline-soaked wood beams or whatever crazy-ass nonsense they did in the, before there were rules about that sort of shit to prevent fire spread. But yeah, So it's funny. So in our country, where today we just had this extended conversation where we were like, healthcare is a for-profit business. Wow, that's so messed up. But if we saw a for-profit fire company, we would today be like, woof, it's like, it's shocking, right?
Yeah.
Maybe when we're old, for-profit healthcare will be shocking. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible.
We're old. We're gonna need the fucking help.
Clearly, firefighters decided to change their ways. Clearly, counties and cities and whatever started creating publicly funded fire departments, so you don't have to worry about being able to afford to save your house and if it ignites.
Yeah.
We can only hope and dream that if that progress is possible, maybe in the next century it'll be a laughable concept that health insurance and healthcare was once a for-profit business where medications cost exorbitant amounts and doctors would refuse you service if you had paid the wrong insurance provider, and instead of just providing you life-saving treatment or alleviating your pain and suffering with their medical knowledge instead of waiting to see if billing would allow them to be a doctor or not that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we gotta hope, right? We gotta do what we can to change it. But I have to hope, or else everything in the entire world is pointless and depressing.
Yeah, that is probably the clearest picture that you could paint towards what people are facing right now. Because with ambulances, it's the same way as that. Someone breaks their leg. What do they say? Don't call me an ambulance. I can't afford that.
Yeah.
And so what if the ambulance shows up and you have to go, no, get away.
I think people
don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Doing medicine.
Actually refuse to go into the ambulance.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's so expensive. And there's a lot of for-profit ambulances out there that are not tied to hospitals at the moment. And but it's the same situation when you get to the hospital. Like I've been to the hospital many times. I know hospitals very well. And yes, I get good care there. I believe that American doctors are capable of providing excellent care. It's the whole money thing. That's the problem. That's where everything goes to shit. And it's so obvious. Like Bob said, it's so obvious. And I'm really hoping that in the future, people will look back and be like, wow, that was crazy. Just like the way people probably in countries with good national healthcare systems, like the NHS or something like that, probably would look at America. Those countries looking at America is exactly what I hope we do in 50 years. Look back and be like, wow, glad we're not that.
It's barbaric. It really is. It's barbaric.
Yeah.
What else can we talk about? I mean, it's getting kind of late. I don't know if you have a time you gotta go today. Are we trying to move on?
I was gonna go at 3,
or?
so I got like 30 minutes. Honestly, I could just keep talking.
Wait, are you still doing your nap thing?
No, actually, no. I broke out of that. The thing, my conclusion about the nap is, yes, it can work. Yes, it definitely gives you more time if you do it right. I wouldn't recommend going too low, but it makes sleep less enjoyable. And that alone is a deal breaker for me, because I do like a good sleep. Like, I don't sleep a ton, like 6-7 hours is usually good enough for me, but I like getting a nice good sleep, laying down in that bed, knowing I don't have to get up for a long time. Like, sleep is nice. So if you have to do something, if you have to get shit done, yeah, you could do the polyphasic sleeping schedule. But it also robs a bit of the joy out of sleeping, which is kind of sad. So I'm back
Sleeping
to
is fun.
Sleeping is awesome. Sleeping is pretty cool. People shit
I
on
wish
sleeping.
I fell asleep better.
Oh, I fall asleep so good. Like I could. I
know.
I was about to say I could try to teach you, because it was a skill I had to practice.
What do you? Okay, so what do you do? Do you have like no? Don't tell me to take melatonin, because that shit makes my dreams crazy as hell.
I don't recommend taking any sort of like chemicals and stuff like this. I mean, number one, caffeine, you got to cut it back before you go to bed, like a lot. But
that's fair.
The biggest thing is breathing. Taking big, heavy. The thing that actually helped me is, when Chica falls asleep, she lays down and she goes, and you know, she just breathes big. And so I started doing that at night. I'm like, it works for her. Why wouldn't it work for me? And it really works, because every time you take a big deep breath in, could be through your nose or whatever, just like, and then just like push it out, like let it like blast out of you. And then you close your eyes, and it's not about letting go. It's about channeling your focus elsewhere. So I do the breathing so that I can put myself in a relaxed state. And when you're relaxed, you're primed for sleeping. You just have to get to the point where you relax. And what helps me fall asleep really quickly is
Sheeran.
Yeah, exactly. I think, what if I could go to sleep right now? And then I'm out like that. It's fantastic. No,
It works.
what I do is actually I try to not imagine. I try to feel. So number one, I relax every part of my body as much as I can. So I try to get in touch with my body. I try to relax every part of me so that I make sure from top to bottom, head to toe, that I'm relaxed. And then I try to kind of like separate moving my hands out of actually moving my hands and do it in my head. So it's very hard to imagine, but if you close your eyes, you know where your arms are positionally. You can feel them. You even if you don't consciously look at them, you can know where they are in space. And so I use that kind of sensation to literally lift my arms out of my arms on my bed, and in my mind, I'm moving them. It's not even imagining it. You're not visualizing anything. I'm just feeling it. And so when I do that, it helps detach me from like my body. It helps me kind of let go of a lot of things there. And then I kind of just do a little ritual where once I'm able to do that, I imagine a table. And this maybe if people don't have vivid imaginations, they can't do this, but I imagine a table with like two bowls. One bowl's full of like balls, actually.
Okay.
But what I do is I pick up one, I transfer it to my other hand in my mind, and I put it in the other bowl, and I just count. And I do that. And I've never made it past 10. I do not remember ever getting past 10. Because once I'm to that point where I'm fully in my head, I am already on the road to sleeping. The balls in the bowls really just help me keep that mindset. It keeps me in that space. So I relax with breathing. I let go. I relax all my body. I let go into my mind a little bit. I kind of go into my head, and the physicality of it helps. And then I keep that mindset by doing something monotonous, like putting balls in a bowl. And I fall asleep really quickly.
That is a lot to take in. I don't fall asleep quickly, but I have never like Doctor Stranged my arms to putting balls in bowls either.
It's not astral projection. What are you talking about? It's not, no, it's not. It's in your head, guys. Please.
No, I'm with you.
No, chat is going on it, guys. It's nothing special. You're just going in your head.
Everyone in chat is so confused by like your balls in a bowl, your arms are moving in your mind.
I think it's something fundamental like counting sheep. Like the imagining of counting sheep is less about counting. It's more about being in a space where you can see sheep in your mind, and you kind of like build that in your head, and you let go of your body, and you'll naturally fall asleep. Like imagining, however, there's a difference between that. Let me clarify. There's a difference between that and imagining like scenarios and coming up with shit in your head. That is counterintuitive to falling asleep because you're actively using your imagination. Me, I'm not trying to use my imagination. I'm actually trying to use my consciousness to force myself.
How do you stop that from leading to that? Because in my brain, whenever I have to actively try to keep my mind blank.
That's what the balls in the bowl is for. It's to keep me in that space so I don't wander. I have a task. I'm like, this goes into that, and it goes one at a time, and I use both my hands. And because I'm concentrated on that task, I'm in my head, and I'm not going anywhere else. I'm at a table with balls.
I don't try that exact thing, but like in my brain, I just know, I close my eyes, I picture like, okay, picking up a ball, putting it in the bowl, picking up a ball.
Not just imagining.
My
No,
brain would be
it's not
what if the
imagining.
balls were bleeding. My brain would just ask a question that would change the scenario.
Because it's not about imagining. That's why I literally like try to detach the feeling of my arms from my actual arms, is because I'm feeling it. I'm not worried about imagining it. It's not as vivid as my imagination would normally be. It's about feeling it. So that's why I say touching it, putting in both hands, really feeling it, so that I can let go of the imagination and I don't bring those elements. If you're imagining imagining things.
Gotcha.
That's counterintuitive in my experience. Anytime
So you're more imagining the feeling of it, you're not visualizing it.
I'm not trying to imagine the feeling. I'm trying to physically feel it, but in my head. I'm trying to like really feel it. Not imagine feel it, not fakey, not up in my head, imagine it, like feel it. I'm trying to stay connected.
Right. I mean, you're really trying. I'm not even trying to be funny, but you're really trying to feel the ball as you move them.
Uh huh.
No,
I'm really not trying to be funny. Like I get what you're saying.
Totally
like I can
get
actually
it.
close my eyes. I can not well. It is
yeah, you could call it
it.
like it's different words, like but the meaning is like it could be the same. It's hard to.
It's
discern.
like a lemon. So I'm picturing myself, or I'm feeling a lemon in my hand, which has like you can feel the skin of it, and then you like put it in your other hand, set it down.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying as far as that goes.
It's difficult to explain. For me in my head, there's two different ways that I can imagine something. I can imagine something in a vivid scene with full color and accuracy, and that helps me like with creativity. That's like creative stuff. And then like there's the kind of imagination where if I close my eyes and I just have a sense of self, and I can like feel my limbs, and I can see where I am and how I'm laying, and it's for me it's just different. There's two different separate things. It's not as clear. It's not really like vivid imagery. It's probably what Bob you're saying about how your imagination works, because you can't picture things in your head. It's more that. Like I think just in a way it's how it goes. Yeah.
Oh, you said how it goes. I thought you just said tacos into your sentence.
Tacos.
In a way, tacos. I think
Just
everyone
in a way.
can agree with that.
Tacos.
Yeah.
I saw a GIF the other day of our the drowned man with the tacos 4 from the Ouija board. Randomly.
They oh whoops. Wait, so this is going into something I don't know if Mark would agree with exactly characterizing it like this.
Streaming's
This is
better.
something
Agreed.
that I've always thought, I don't think about this a lot, but in the context of us, have you ever tried mindful meditation?
No, I haven't
Or
heard
do you
of that.
know what mindful, because it's like essentially what you're describing, Mark, sounds like mindful meditation to me.
It
is
could be.
like it's more sensory than a lot of mindfulness exercises are. Mindfulness exercises and meditations tend to focus on your breath and the sensation of breathing and like in like the physicality of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like you would be terrible, and I feel like it might be a good practice for you, Wade, if you look into mindful meditation in general
Yeah,
and
Google it.
try and
I'm
find
reading
some
that.
exercises, because like what Mark is describing sounds a lot like a mindful meditation exercise. It's a way to people, at least when I was younger, I've always been into meditation, and when I was younger, I thought it meant trying to keep your mind empty, like trying to
that's what
shut
I
it.
generally go for.
Which is like, I feel like what a lot of people, it makes sense, but that is hard to do and
Yeah, it
not
is.
realistic to try to achieve, and it doesn't help you relax. Actively trying to shut down your thoughts is actually really taxing, and it doesn't like, you can do it, but it's not beneficial. The idea of mindfulness is like, you need to learn the skill, like, well, I'm almost like Mark was describing, of you have a thought, it enters your mind, and you don't explore it. You don't like engage with it. You allow it to exist. And it's like you're, strangers passing on the street. You're not trying to prevent it from existing, and you're not trying to make it go away. But what you're doing is you're choosing to stay focused on some specific thing, like your breath or the balls in the bowl, like Mark was talking about. And it's a way of learning how to create focus that is not focus at the exclusion of like everything else in your world or in your mind, but it's focus despite the fact that your mind is noisy and busy, and you're always going to have thoughts, and you're always going to have thoughts about your thoughts, but like you can learn to calm that down. And I think it's funny because I'm no expert, but I like mindful breathing and mindfulness exercises help me feel less frantic and scattered all the time, but I've never been able to apply them to sleeping. When there's something about my life or my personality, I don't like sleep or something. I don't know. I actively do stuff that makes my experience of falling asleep and getting good sleep worse, which is crazy because I like sleep once I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But like I don't, and it's like I don't understand it. It's to think about myself and understand. But mindfulness is great technique, and it might help you, Wade, because I feel like you do. Like, it's clear from the way you talk and stuff, you have a very active mind, and that's not a problem, and it makes you very talkative and creative in conversations. But I can imagine that must be exhausting when you don't.
Well, I sleep like a baby when I fall asleep, and I don't want to wake up. You guys know from hanging out with me, I sleep till you guys wake my ass up. Like, I will sleep till 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon. But falling asleep is awful. I will, if I don't have a medium, like, usually what I do is I'll find something kind of calm. Like, lately my thing is, I don't know if you guys know the game RimWorld.
Oh yeah.
But I found a 300 episode playlist of RimWorld, and I will just sit there and I'll watch some of those videos, just kind of like, I'll have my eyes closed at some point, just listening to what's happening, and I'll just like slowly doze off because it's a somewhat chill game. Or like, it used to be Civilization. I used to watch some of the Civilization games. I'd watch people play that. And like, eventually after like 3 or 4 videos, it's like, okay, I'm dozing. I can close everything and I can go to sleep now. But if I don't have something like that to help me get to the point of sleep, it's like, I'll close my eyes and then like my brain will just be like, oh, you're awfully tired. Been a long day. But what if death happens? Are you scared of death, Wade? And it's like, okay, well, I'm awake now. Thanks, brain. And then I roll around. I'm trying to like calm down again. And then I lay on one side. I get like the pillow gets warm. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not comfortable. Roll my other side. Oh, now my arm's not quite comfortable. My sinuses are clogged. I want a little bit on my other side. I lay on my back and I just roll around for like an hour or two. And then finally it's like, oh, now you can sleep. And I don't even know at what point I fall asleep. I just know I lay there thrashing about for forever. Even on tour, as exhausting and long as some of those days were, they were great, but they were really exhausting. It's like, I would lay in my bunk. Everyone else would probably be asleep. And I'd be laying there watching something on my phone or my tablet. And then I'd get much less sleep than everybody, or I'd sleep a little bit later than everybody because I was just up there like, okay, well, gotta calm my mind, so I'll be watching something until I fall asleep to it.
Yeah. I have a solution for the uncomfortableness. If you finish what you were saying though.
Oh, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for the uncomfortableness, like a lot. Also, backtracking, a lot of my sleep problems. I wasn't able to fall asleep very well until about 6 years ago, maybe 6, 7 years ago. And then one day I was so pissed off at not falling asleep, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna fall asleep. And then I was like, and then I fell asleep really fast. Cause I was like, cause my imagination was running wild and I'm like, I'm fucking done with this bullshit, shut up. And then I just I was like, oh, I'm going to sleep now, go away. And then I fell asleep. And then ever since then, I've been better about falling asleep because I make the conscious choice of when I'm going to bed to go to sleep, I am like, okay, I'm falling asleep now. I don't really look at my phone too much, but I do. But about the getting uncomfortable thing, I have an easy solution for you. If you're rolling around in bed and you're uncomfortable, you can't find a good spot, get up and get uncomfortable. Literally get out of bed, go somewhere cold, or open the fridge, stand in front of it, like see the light, and you're like, oh, I hate this. You want to be less comfortable than when you were in your bed, because when you return to your bed, that'll be more comfortable than what you were just in. And for me, it works every time. Like anytime I wake up in the middle of the night, my bed is hot. I don't even try to deal with it. I get up and I go someplace that's cold and I let my bed air out, and I'm like, I want to go back to that bed now, and then instantly I'm better. Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, we haven't gotten it yet, but Molly and I have like our Christmas present was we got ourselves a king bed because we've been in a queen, and part of my discomfort is something I can't fully help because Molly likes to sleep not on the edge of the bed. She likes to sleep like in the middle of her pillow, and then our dogs sleep in bed between her and I. And if she's somewhat like in the middle of her side, then there's 2 dogs in the middle. It doesn't leave a whole lot of room for me because they like to lay long ways. So I'm always fighting with them and stuff until like literally I have to wait until my body is so exhausted it just gives up and passes out. And that's how I go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
That's honestly, for me, that's what I get to too. I reach the point where I'm falling asleep while I'm doing whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's like hours for me. Like
same.
If Mandy, if we decide to go to bed at like 10 or 11, like we go to bed at 11, it probably means I'm not actually going to be asleep until 2:30 or 3 o'clock, and I still I don't feel good. I still wake up at like, well, hopefully 9 at the latest, but sometime in the morning and start doing stuff. But yeah, I guess I need to consciously develop this. It's not a thing that I'm very good at, but it's a big mix. Everything you were saying of like being uncomfortable in the bed, and
I'll lay down at 3 a.m.
out of the bed.
Some nights at 7 a.m. before I check my phone. It's like, oh god, it's 6:40 and I'm still not asleep. Last night, knowing I had to be up early today to go get my tooth fixed, last night I tried to go to sleep at like 2. I was like, okay, 2 to 10, that's about 8 hours. That should be fine. Laid down, got my iPad out, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5:30. And then finally at 5:30, I was like, I'm kind of tired. I'm stressed. I'm just going to do my best to fall asleep. And thankfully it actually worked. And I fell asleep pretty quickly. But like, generally speaking, that doesn't work. But I was still up till 5:30 or 6, somewhere in that range. I had to be up at 10. So I got like 4 hours of sleep before the show and stuff today. But like, yeah, just knowing I had to go to sleep, that extra pressure of being like, oh, you're going to get less sleep if you don't fall asleep fast. My brain was like, oh, you want to watch this entire playlist tonight? You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my sleep schedule. Every single night, it's watch something on my, it's like do a mobile game or something, then watch something on my tablet until I literally fall asleep watching it.
The worst nights for me in terms of like taking a turn for the worse. So most of the time it's on my phone. I'll be scrolling social media or on watching YouTube videos or something relatively passive. There are some times where it'll get really late. It'll reach a point like usually maybe 1 or 2 in the morning, pretty late, where my brain is like, fuck this. And I like go down, I leave the bedroom and put something on Netflix, like a long movie.
Mm-hmm.
And those are, yeah, they just reached a point where I'm like, I guess we're not sleeping at all.
I mean,
Let's see what happens.
I've had that too. I've had situations where like my tricks don't work, nothing works, and it's just like it's not time for sleep. And if your body's saying it's not time for sleep, I guess it's not time for sleep. There's probably ways, like I've gotten better at falling asleep, especially the nap stuff has made me really good at it. And it carried over to recently. But yeah, I think most of the time it's just like, it is that conscious thing where you're like, I don't really want to fall asleep right now. I could be awake, you know, and when that's like hanging around in your head, that makes it almost impossible to go to sleep. Because you're always just like poking yourself like, hey, well, not yet. No, don't go on.
I do know of one weird solution that I don't ever use, but I know would work. I used to work at UDF, United Dairy Farmers, which is like an ice cream place, gas station, whatever. But my hours were like I would work till 1 a.m. and then some days I had to open at like 4 a.m. and it was just, my schedule was always kind of fucked. But sometimes like Tyler and another coworker of ours would come over and they'd want to watch the show Supernatural. And Tyler's parents had been getting rid of some furniture and they gave us like a couch and this chair, and we got like another chair that's very similar, but it was like a really plush, nice recliner that like leaned back. And I would turn on the show, and no matter how awake or tired I was, I would get like 10 minutes into an episode of whatever episode it was, and I loved the show. But I would pass out in that fucking recliner like there's no tomorrow. And our recliner now too would be the same way. I don't ever sleep in it intentionally, but there's something about the reclining chair that rocks me to bed like a baby. It's like I'll put on a show, kick back in the recliner, I'll be wide awake, and I'm just done. I sleep really well on planes. Like some people can't sleep on planes. I pass out really fast on planes. There's something about like being in a somewhat sitting position. I don't know if it goes back to like being a baby and being like in a car seat or something, but like something about being like a comfortable chair or even a fucking plane. Like I said, I can fall asleep easier on a plane than I can in a bed, and it makes no sense to me.
That is weird.
There was a job I had building decks when I was in high school, and my boss's truck, huge, like whatever is above an F-350, that's what it was, because it needed to haul a lot of lumber and haul stuff away. Sitting in the passenger seat of that vehicle put me to sleep instantly. Every single morning that we'd be going to build decks, I could not stay awake. And he'd always pull the joke of screaming and waking me up as if he's about to crash. Every day he would do this to me.
The super cool guy joke of pretending to get into a car accident.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
fun.
That, and plus with the fact that whenever I get a massage or something like that, I have to struggle not to fall asleep. It made me connect the dots of like, okay, what sensations from these experiences are working to help me fall asleep? And so I build off of that to kind of develop the techniques that I use to fall asleep. So yeah,
Is it people touching you? Is that what makes you fall asleep?
Well, I would have thought that like if someone's just rubbing my back that I wouldn't fall asleep, but no, it's something about like the soothing music, the fact that you have to maintain a unmoving position. You are forced to relax. It's those are the elements that I took away from it, like the relaxation, the breathing. My breathing was actually kind of restricted. I didn't know if laying on my belly was like helping me sleep, but then again, in the chair, in the truck, like it's still sleeping. So I take these elements from them, and I'm like, okay, what works? What works? So yeah, no, I got sleeping pretty down, but only through a lot of effort and a lot of practice.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried some different
a good
things, but I've not
quote.
tried the mindfulness.
Bro,
and the
I got
chair is
sleeping
so weird.
fucking down. It's like two 9-month-olds talking to each other at daycare. Like, dude, what have you been doing lately? Man, fucking can't get to sleep. Like, can't figure it out. Bro, I nailed sleeping. I sleep for like 4 hours at a time. I wake up for milk 3 times in the night. Killing it. Killing it, dude. I got sleeping
aliens would
down,
talk
dude.
about trying to be human, like, oh, I am very good at sleeping.
With my human brain.
Yeah. I just lay in my human earth bed and I fall asleep like any human would.
Anyway, sleeping sucks and I hate it.
Once I'm asleep though, dude, I'm so happy. And then like the days where you don't have to get up right away, where you can just kind of like slowly wake up is so nice.
You guys ever just have bed days?
That's the counterpoint. I have
Not all
not.
the time.
I have not had a lay in bed day or a slow get up day in over a year. So,
Dude,
That's the
bed
other half
days.
of it.
Bed days are what's up.
maybe that's what also helps me fall asleep, is because I don't get a full 8 hours, and I always get up from an alarm, so I'm always kind of tired. So that also helps a little bit. I'm never like full rested.
You're
So
always slightly dying of tiredness.
that's my secret. I'm always tired.
Always tired.
No, but I get up. When I get up, I feel fully rested. So like I'm fine in that department.
I
but-
don't think, no matter when I get up, I don't think I've fully rested, but I also am pretty sure, because I'm a big fat guy, I have sleep apnea, and I need one of those machines that make sure I don't die in my sleep. I have lots of issues, guys. Get some
maybe-
subs. Come on, 5 gifted for my issues. Come on, guys.
Guys, you heard
Come
me.
on.
You heard the
Prime
man.
guy. I feel like we're holding like our we took the hat
$5.
off our
Come
head.
on.
We're walking around right now. Like, guys, listen, I appreciate you coming to the convention to meet us, but we really have problems. Please, if you just spare a nickel, put a nickel in
I'm
my
gonna put
hat.
a
That'll
tip
help
jar
lot.
at the end of the hug line. Can you just consider donating to your down and out celebrities here, please?
Wasn't it nice meeting your heroes? Give them
If you're
$1,
a
maybe
real
$100. Just let them
fan-
put in the hat.
Well, I mean, you guys laugh, but for years, that's how things worked with celebrities at like convention. When YouTubers came
That
up,
is how things work.
That is
you know
how
what's the
things-
weirdest fucking thing to me?
right?
Have you guys been contacted by Cameo?
No, I haven't.
I don't think so.
Do you know what Cameo is?
I do, yes.
Is it safe to Google this?
Yeah. Well, maybe. I mean, the thing I'm talking about is an app called Cameo.
Unique
like-
celeb shoutouts.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, absolutely no shade to anyone that has chosen to do this, because there are lots of people I know, YouTubers and people that I know of or that I know in person, who have done this, who have made accounts on the app, and they reached out to me and were like, "Hey, we think you'd be a great fit for Cameo, Bob Meiskirm. You should." And I'm like, "Cool. I'm glad you know my name. You really got me." But like, and clearly these are services that people use. The idea of Cameo is that you can go out there and your favorite celebrity, if they are on the app, will have a page where it's like $10 and I'll give you a shout out and I'll say your name and I'll say a little what up to you or whatever, or $15 and I'll say a custom message and like, that's just such a weird interaction for me. Like,
Yeah.
Is this the
and it's
app that
not.
Antonio Brown used? The former Steelers wide receiver who's now with like Tampa Bay or whatever. Did you guys see the weird shout out he did?
No idea.
No.
He was
And
in a
it's not-
swimming pool. Well, go ahead, Bob. I'll tell you.
It's not ostensibly that different from like someone giving bits or stars and us being like, "Hey, thanks for the 500 stars or whatever. Like, what up? Happy birthday." It's not like real, like it's really not that different. But the fact that this platform exists for the sole purpose of this type of interaction, it's just fucking weird to me. And like, I don't know, who would want that? Am I weird that I don't understand the appeal of that, or is that weird?
Well-
Because the whole notion of it seems crazy as shit to me, that you would pay actual human money to a celebrity of any sort just for them to like say hi to you or say happy birthday or something. Like,
I mean,
am I missing
That's
it?
more direct than the bits and subs on like Twitch and stuff.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I wouldn't do it myself, but I understand the appeal because otherwise these people are completely inaccessible. So it goes back to the traditional methodology, like of meeting celebrities at a convention. You got to pay to get an autograph. You got to pay to do this. For some people, I guess I would never do it. I don't really like it, but for some people, it makes sense because that can mean something to someone who really looks up to this person to get a personalized message. Streamers do it with minimum amounts to get your message on stream. Like it's not uncommon. I think it's just a different form.
I realized I was muted as I was responding.
Oh God,
to you.
I was
I thought it was weird that you were dead silent. You were trying to say something.
Yeah, I don't remember where I started, but yeah, I don't find it weird. I think it makes sense because like with bits and subs, like I said, people can either gloss over them, not read them at all, or it might like miss something, or sometimes they're just like, oh, thanks for the 3 months, and you like move on. Whereas this, it's like, hey, Tina, happy birthday. I appreciate you supporting me, and I just want you to know I hope you have the happiest of the birthdays. And it's like you get to see the video, the voice, that makes sense. But in some of the, you can tell the celebrities. I want to talk about the Antonio Brown one that like just don't fucking care. Antonio Brown was a wide receiver who kind of went batshit fucking crazy, and he did a whole bunch of stupid shit like nonstop. And somehow he has another chance. He's with Tampa Bay. He did one of these videos. I think it was for charity. It was like someone donated, I think it was like $500 to his thing that was going to charity or something. And he was like, I forget the name. He was like, hey, Tom, hope you have a happy birthday. I also hear it's your 30th anniversary wedding. That's the way he phrased it. And then he went on this weird little spiel, but he's shirtless in a swimming pool talking to this dude like happy birthday. And it's like your 30th anniversary. And then like in this creepy face, creepy voice, wedding after that. And I don't know what he says after that, but it was so goddamn uncomfortable. And I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that was a $500 like either charity or thing to him for him to say that. And it's like, can you not do a retake? Is it like you record and it's sent?
Yeah.
Because it was so horribly worded. It was so uncomfortable. It was like, that is a first take where you didn't even read the draft first. You just have like information in front of you. You're like, Tom, birthday 30th, wedding, happy to you.
I guess that's the thing for me. I do not look down at all on people who idolize celebrities or even people like us. Like a lot of people, I think, look up to you, Mark, because you've done a bunch of great charity work, and like I understand completely why a person might see what you've done and find you really entertaining or whatever, and really sincerely like look up to you or a lot of other people in the world who have set good examples and done great things. But this type of relationship in general, which I believe is called parasocial or something like that,
Sure.
where it's one directional, basically, the type of relationship that you and every other like YouTuber and content creator and we have with our fans. It's not at all insincere, but it's one directional. And the only examples I've ever seen of cameos are of like actors or famous people, and it's not as bad, but it's almost like what you're saying, Wade, where they're on their phone like in a Uber going somewhere or something, and they're like, hey, Steve, you said that it is your daughter's birthday and that she's a huge fan. So happy birthday, Steve's daughter, Amanda. This is Robert De Niro, and happy birthday. And it's like, I'm sure that it's as sincere as any other interaction. But at the exact same time, they're just fucking doing that because you paid them $50. Like, they're doing this to fill the hours between their real gigs. There's no, I don't know. I guess I'm just afraid that people see these sorts of things as like, all right, we're practically friends now. Robert De Niro sent me a message. It's like, no. Like, I don't want to do this in a judgmental way, because there's nothing wrong with looking up to people that you admire.
Yeah.
But also, like, that can be really unhealthy. I just feel like there's such a fine line between that's totally fine and that is not healthy for that person to feel that way about a celebrity who does not know they exist. Even if you get a private message, once they're done recording that and they hit send, they go back to not knowing that you exist.
Yeah.
Like you're not any closer to them, And I guess it concerns me. Is my issue with it.
I guess that's always a concern. That's always going to be around. But something about what you said reminded me of this TikTok. I forget who made it. If people remember it, please let me know. But it was this kid sitting in a car and he's crying. He's like, "Come on, man, just do one more, man, just do one more." And he pulls up his phone. He's like, "Hey, Greg, thanks for watching my videos. Have a happy birthday and keep it popping," or something like that. He just like puts the phone down and he's like, and this caption was just like, former Disney star doing cameos for rent money.
God.
It's just like, oh man, I hope people aren't doing it just to like pay the bills. But I mean, hey, if you can capitalize on your celebrity in whatever way you can, more power to you, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Put
There's
some
nothing
effort
wrong
into
with
it.
trying to pay the bills and build your brand and do what you think is right. It just seems concerning to me.
I
I guess
linked you
I'm
guys
just a
the video.
judgmental bitch.
By the way, if you guys want to see it, I did link you the video in this Discord.
Let's check it out after.
Happy anniversary wedding.
Wed.
I want to.
God, it's so cringe, dude.
I want to like make a YouTube video, like a vlog, and just use that as a bit. Like I accidentally forgot to edit out a clip between shots. I'm just breaking down.
Oh,
like,
was that Danny Gonzalez? Was that? Oh, that might have been Danny. Okay.
Greg is what Danny Gonzalez calls his followers. So when you said that, I thought it was like just coincidence, but his he starts every video with "What's up, Greg?" and
Was
welcome
it?
to. So that entirely could be him, because that would make sense.
Yeah, maybe. I have no idea.
He's pretty fucking funny.
Oh yeah, I got that.
He is the creator of one of my all-time favorite vines. Have you ever seen it's a Danny Gonzalez vine from back in the day. It's a serial killer is in your house and you're hiding in the closet, and the serial killer's like skulking around, and he can't find you, and he just stops in the middle of a room and goes, "Red Robin," and the person hiding in the closet goes, "Yum, fuck no."
Oh yeah, he did a stint on Corridor Digital, actually.
He did. He worked at Corridor for like less than a month or something.
I don't remember.
Before he was like, "Actually, we're moving to Chicago," or wherever he lives now.
Well, I mean,
And he
yeah,
moved
he
to
had
the
like
Midwest.
he had like his own channel and stuff to pursue, so I get that. I understand it.
I feel like he could have done some awesome stuff with Corridor. His sense of humor with the production value that they would have put into his ideas at Corridor.
Yeah.
I was excited. Could have been good. Could have been great.
Yeah, but it probably would have featured him taking too much of a creative role in things, and with channels, it's hard to get those. So best just to him go on his own way, I guess. But what do we know? We have no idea. Maybe they hate each other. I don't know.
I showed the video on. It's even worse than I remember it being.
All right.
Happy
you know what,
30th
I gotta-
anniversary wedding. I hear you're a defense attorney and it's your birthday. God. Ugh. I mean, people like share bits around. They're like, "Hey, can you say hi to so and so?" Or "It's so and so's birthday. Or it's my birthday." And it's, I try to like, "Hey, happy birthday! Thanks for tuning in and watching." Like, just try to give them like an actual genuine moment there. But like, whatever that is, if that's what the cameos are like I'm sure not everyone's is the same, but that is so not fair. No matter how much they're charging, $1 or $500, like you got to do better than what that is.
If you're doing it, that's fine. Do it well, right?
Yes.
You owe
I'm
it
gonna
to
play
people.
the audio on my stream because I want to hear what this is.
It's
I
so-
just
I'll
listened
play
to
it
it.
again here.
I mean, he's
anniversary
smiling.
wedding.
So. He did know that he could do it over again, right?
Well, he said he hopes his birthday is booming. That's nice.
That's nice. That's nice.
Come on, Wade. You're not giving him enough
Wade,
credit.
come on. Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of it's also in a weird way. I hope that it doesn't remove too much of the mystique for these celebrities, because it is kind of draining of the overall celebrity factor that you have, I guess, just because Sarah Palin's on here. Great.
Sarah Palin does
Sarah
cameos.
Palin's on cameo. Yeah, she's on cameo. Oh, she's
How
got-
many requests do you think she's
$200.
gotten to just say straight to the camera, "I can see Russia from my house"? Because I'm pretty sure Tina Fey made that bit up. Well, that's like the main thing I think of when I think of Sarah Palin, and I would love how much. Sarah, listen, how much? I know you're downtrodden. You've been sort of booted out of the party and everything. How much you want? I would love to have that soundbite for like a notification on my stream.
Chat's all like, is Ethan on there? Is Obama on there?
So Obama, God, if Obama was on here. Can you imagine Obama in his like living room doing cameos straight into the camera? That'd be so.
I hope he wears like a nice like robe and he's got like a cigar and like a martini. He's just like,
God, can Bernie do cameos? Sorry, just keep going. I'm sorry, you interrupted.
No, you're good. I must know.
Go. I want to hear it.
I can't do a good Obama.
I want to hear it.
You can do it.
You got this.
I can't
Come
do it.
on, man.
I'm trying to
Confidence.
even like find a starting point.
Come
for
on, you
Obama.
have great face action. You can do this.
My fellow Americans, happy birthday to Tina and Todd on this day of your birth.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
It's not good.
Yeah, that was
You know
not
what?
good.
No, you know what? With no prep and being a person who does not do voices of real life people as a professional or anything, I will accept that. I could 100% detect the mannerisms that you were trying to go for. I have to actually. I expected that to just be like, my fellow Americans, this is Barack, your homeboy, ex-president in the house.
I mean, Bob, that's
like,
how
I expected it to
that's
be.
how you
He
do
sits-
impressions.
Yeah,
like,
no,
Sits
I
up,
know.
He's dignified and his hands like
You-
crossed on his lap.
I could smell a whiff of Obama in that impression. That honestly, I was impressed. I
Okay.
expected
Thank
it to
you.
be so bad that I would just laugh at you, and it
Listen.
was not
you.
that bad.
Wait, I'm not
It was
gonna
not
lie
bad.
to you like Bob currently is. That was a very bad impression.
It was not.
It was pretty bad.
You gotta listen. It was not in the tone. Wade's voice tone is not even close to Obama's, and that's nothing
not.
he can do
I didn't
about
even
that.
hear a like a I didn't hear a which was really what I was hoping for. He
What?
says a lot.
Does he?
Because he speaks
He doesn't do
with
long
care.
uhs. He does short uhs, but when he's doing prepared statements, he doesn't do uhs.
I'm just,
not- that's not how I
yeah,
would
of course,
define
when he's
Obama's
reading a
speech
prepared
patterns.
state. Oh, okay, all right. But when he's speaking off the cuff, which I hope he's giving these personalized messages as these cameos should be,
You
know,
think he
he'd-
doesn't have a speechwriter prepare
all right.
his
he'd
cameos?
think carefully about it. You know?
You think
My fellow
Obama?
Americans, of which, let me be clear, I believe you are. I hope you have a happy birthday, Tina and Todd. Is that better? Is that better?
You're slipping into a little bit of Woody Allen.
I don't even
Now,
know what Woody
honestly,
Allen sounds like.
I could hear what you're going for, and that was a market improvement.
That was an improvement?
The tone improved. The mannerisms got a little weaker because you were spreading your focus more. But I could hear what you were going for.
It was
Closer to
farther
Joe
from the
Why,
truth.
why do you think Wade would just be able to pop off an Obama
I
impersonation?
can't just
You
pop
have
off
to-
Obama. I can't.
You have to give him credit for what he actually did.
No, gold star for
Obviously,
attempting
there's
it,
a lot of
but
issues.
that was worse. But no one will agree that wasn't worse. Look,
You told me to add
know,
us.
man.
I
I
added
don't know.
us.
I said maybe or two, you know, like it didn't have to between every word. It really was.
Okay,
It-
Mr. fucking critic, do an Obama. Give
I-
us Obama.
I can't do an Obama.
He's
you have
just
a
not
beautiful,
going to.
sexy voice
That's,
like Obama
that's
does.
how
Give
Mark
me
gets out of
Obama.
these situations. He
Yeah,
just
I'm not
doesn't
gonna
do
do
it.
it.
No, shit out an Obama for me right now.
I'm Obama.
See, that's my bit. You can't do my bit. My bit is to not know how to do anything and pretend, and then everyone gives you credit for no
Lori.
reason. Yeah, well,
Lori.
hey, I hadn't watched that show. That was not that I couldn't do it. It was that I didn't even know what I was aiming for.
I think Mark did watch the show in his fucking prospector version of Herschel.
Holy, it's me, Herschel,
I'm Herschel.
the crazy
I'm going
prospector. You know, I have watched the show since we recorded those videos, and I have to say, my Lori was better than your Herschel.
Thank
so.
you, man. Thank you.
But you tried, damn it.
I don't know if I
You
tried.
think you tried, but you don't.
That
You
one
think
just
you can,
devolved.
but you can't.
That devolved into a different human.
Me ask me some.
Man, we were funny back then. What happened to
Oh,
us?
those were the golden days, man.
All right. I actually am out of time.
All right, we stretch it out. We filled the time. Thank God this is over with.
No,
Are you in me, Bob?
made
I'm
it.
gonna go play Phasmo or something for a
Stumbled
bit.
to the end of another messy podcast.
Well, all right,
I don't
then.
actually know.
Phasma had a couple updates I want to test out, so I'm gonna probably launch that up for a bit.
That was
Sounds good.
surprisingly fun considering we just talked for 4 hours.
I mean, I like.
Yeah, it was.
I like chatting.
That was pretty good, actually.
Other than yelling at chat every 3 seconds to shut up about what are you gonna game? We don't care about what you think. Other than that, it was great.
That's
I
what
just banned
mods
those
are
people.
for, yeah,
I'll never hear from them again.
yeah, it's amazing. It just works perfectly.
I think my mods do too. But...
It's like Fallout 76. It just works.
See, I get a satisfaction of taking people that are stupid or that are assholes and just ripping them apart on stream and showing their guts to the chat as I do it. But maybe that's just me. I'm gonna play.
I'm gonna order some cameos. So I'm gonna be busy.
Are you gonna be? Can I order a Markiplier cameo?
No,
soon?
no, I'm not gonna be on there. But
Is
I got
that
some
still
shopping to
viable
do.
YouTube content? Go on to X website and just order a bunch of shit like Fiverr or Cameo or something, and
I
then
mean,
just
sure, yeah,
react to it.
yeah, sure. If you want to spend a few $1,000s, yeah.
I've never gone down that well. I feel like I should try it out.
Yeah, go for it. Give it a go. Why not? Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
it was
thanks
fun.
for the podcast, friends.
Yeah.
you.
Bob, if you want to join for Phasma, you're more than welcome. But I'm gonna go do that, I guess, for a bit.
I think I'm actually gonna play some Valorant.
All right.
okay.
Well,
There's a new character, so gotta try it out. But have a good afternoon, dudes.
Yeah, you
well,
too.
you
See you
too.
guys.
Thank you. Take care. Bye
too.
bye
See ya.
now. All right, guys. So thank you for the fun stream. It was good to just chat. We were going to play games, but honestly, we were just having a good time talking. So thanks for sticking around. Wade's continuing, so go say hi to Wade. Also, Bob is apparently continuing, so go say hi to Bob. He's over at facebook.com/Meisker. Thank you all so much. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.